Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SI 2020. It's time to continue on with our final group stage matches. Just a few more teams remain that can still move through into our playoff stage within a few days' time. And now one of those teams has to be eliminated once again. My name is Blue. Joining me here on the desk for this match is going to be Stokes. And wow, we have a match in front of us, don't we?
Oh, we do for sure, Blue. It's Reciprocity and BDS. You guys know these teams. They've been around for forever at this point. BDS obviously being a little bit newer, but has rose to practical legacy at this point because of Shaiko being on the roster. A lot of French fans as well as a lot of fans around the world, particularly taking a fancy to that guy. Here is the group stage, though, for Group D, the entire bracket breakdown to show you how we got here. BDS lost yesterday to G2 Esports, and now they have to face Team Reciprocity and face elimination.
Reciprocity, in the meanwhile, took on G2 first, and as we talked about that, they came so close to being able to topple the Titans in that matchup, but just couldn't get the job done. Being able to swiftly eliminate Wildcard, however, they've set themselves up for this match, and like we said before, what a match this is going to be. We have got two very amazing teams that want to push themselves forward, want to, once again, in the case of Reciprocity, reclaim what they already have had last year and get themselves to that quarterfinals position, and in the case of BDS, find something new for themselves. Let's take a look at the rosters for each team, though, starting out with Reciprocity, a team that we've been seeing perform pretty well here so far today. Foxe has been leading the charge for the team's rating at 1.3, but Vert, who specifically had a fantastic game yesterday, 3 or 4 rounds in near succession with a 4K, a 3K, and a 3K again. Vertical was absolutely going off in yesterday's matches, followed up by Laxing, Retro, and Nyx, one of the newer additions to the team as well.
This roster overall has been performing very well as opposed to how people thought they were going to play here at this LAN. They've had a shaky Pro League overall, taking a lot of losses that no one really thought that they would. Their last loss to TSM on Villa during this first split of PL, but they're back now. Reciprocity's been looking pretty solid on LAN, especially with that G2 showing, but BDS on the other side, that's kind of a scary tale.
Very scary tale indeed as we take a look. The man himself right in front, Shaiko, leading the charge with a near 1.4 rating. Lems as well, who had a beautiful game on day number 1 for himself. We saw the player fall off just a little bit as we moved into day number 2, but also players like Renshiro being able to step up when needed, along with Raphael and RXWD to fill out the rest of this team.
Yeah, Rafal, a great support player. Both of these support players doing such a good job to support these entries, especially Shaiko, who's just been doing his regular thing of getting a ton of kills. Rating very high, his positivity on his KD ratio very high as well. He's plus 20 through this entire tournament. But the main thing that I want to talk about between these two, John, is the fact that their map pools are so damn similar. It is actually ridiculous. If we look through their entire map pool, obviously BDS really doesn't like Villa. They've never played it. They've banned it 31 times in the last 6 months. There's been so much history that has been going on with BDS and what they've been able to do inside of the scene, making a lot of waves. So let's hear what both of these teams thought about their matchups yesterday.
So I'm LMs and I'm support flex for Team BDS.
I'm Zachary Nix Thomas and I'm an entry fragger for Team Reciprocity.
So the last game we played against G2, we lost 2-0, 7-5, 7-5. It was a close game. I think we lost because we did a lot of mistakes. So yeah, we lose logically.
So the last game we played was against Wildcard. We ended up beating them 2-0 in the loser bracket run. We played them on Consulate and Bank and it was a really good game.
In my mind, I think it's good to lose here because it shows us how, you know, you are not invincible. You have to constantly improve on yourself. So I think it's a good thing. We'll be ready for tomorrow.
The things that we changed is we just tried to focus on our mistakes. So against G2, we felt like we made a lot of communication errors and things that shouldn't have been happening at the highest level. Tried to talk about it as a team and just kind of fix that going into Wildcard, and I think we did an okay job at that.
Our next opponent is Team Reciprocity from North America.
Our next game will be against BDS Esports in the loser bracket finals.
I think this is a good team. It will be a good match. We will be, we have to play at top level tomorrow if we want to beat them. They will be in the same case. They have to play at top level to beat us. So yeah, it will be an exciting match.
Yeah, so I've played against BDS before, previously when I was on the Dark Zero roster. BDS is like a really solid roster. They have a lot of like raw talent and gun skill. Shaiko is like one of the craziest players in Europe. So as long as like we're trading effectively and like just playing as a team, like we should be able to come out with a win. May the better team win. We're just going to come out and hopefully we're going to come out swinging, and we're going to definitely take the dub.
Good luck and have fun.
Good luck and have fun from BDS. We're going to swing and take the W from Rec. Those are the closing words from either team as they now get ready to jump into the very first map of this series, which we'll be able to see more about the maps themselves in just a second here. And, well, not even just a second, just a millisecond. Thank you, production, for that. Let's get the bans out of the way, though. Reciprocity is going to take out Cafe first. Coastline will be the next ban, actually, as BDS removes that. So the initial pick will go over to Rec, and they'll take Bank down as their initial map choice, which will be our first map. Clubhouse will be the second that BDS will choose.
Well, we should be seeing a Villa ban here on this last ban from BDS, and it will be. Okay, so we're going to be going to Bank, Clubhouse, and Border. So in between these two teams, pretty similar records on Bank, both banning it a number of times, but BDS making it out on top with that. But that's going to be Reciprocity's pick. They're feeling pretty confident after their matchup yesterday, against Wildcard on that map. Clubhouse, pretty equal as well amongst these two, and then we're going to round it out with a good old-fashioned bordered brawl. So that map, I swear, it just makes for the best decider map in the game right now. It's so small, it's so action-packed, border can get crazy. The rough thing, though, for Reciprocity is that's where everything fell apart against G2.
It's very true for them, so now we're going to have to wait and see if they're going to be able to correct the mistakes. Keep in mind, with things falling apart for them, it fell apart in a way that they could very easily fix. These were very, unfortunate, what I'm going to call them, mistakes that were made by a couple individual players. Foxy, of course, making one of the biggest ones in not spotting out a player sitting below. But look at how close these two operators are as well in terms of their statistics throughout this event. Foxy is having a slight edge with regards to the KD ratio, but openers, they're exactly the same. With regards to plants, obviously the same there too, but that's not going to matter much in this case.
Yeah, these guys don't plant, they shoot people. No. That's exactly what they do.
Don't really need to look at that one.
And the funny thing enough between these two, you can see Shaiko's been playing a lot of Hibana. He plays Hibana, he plays Ashe. He likes these two operators because they're both 3 speeds with decent primary weapons, and you have stun grenades to be able to help yourself inside of those gunfights. Foxy playing the exact same supporting role on defense with that mute pick. That's what he's been playing the most of during this tournament, but you can obviously see on defense, Shaiko's permanently on that Jaeger, and we have Sledge for Fox on offense. So kind of doing the opposite of each other, just depends on what side they are on. But between these two, I would actually say this is going to be a very even bout with how the maps have went down, especially how both of these teams have competed across the last 2 days. The main thing that we need to talk about, though, with BDS is they got completely stunted by G2 yesterday. A 2-0, which I don't think a lot of people expected, and especially the fashion that it happened in on Cafe. We were not able to watch the whole thing, John. I went back last night, I watched the Cafe. I didn't want any spoilers. So obviously Twitter always does that, so I knew the general idea. We're going to have some crazy op picks, but I did not know the fashion of beating that happened. It was truly ridiculous. Like, the only words to describe it was just disrespectful. That was really it. Like, we're bringing Tachanka, we're bringing Capcan, we're bringing Glaz, we're bringing Fuse, we're bringing all the Spetnaz ops, we're bringing whatever we think can possibly work. They take offense first on Cafe. I mean, what is there not to love about that G2 play?
We're getting their Uplay challenges done. That's what they're
I got to get all those Uplay challenges done. Got to get those suppressor kills for the battle pass.
All right, guys. Well, we're well into the bans, of course. If you haven't noticed here for Bank, Capital, Thatcher, Echo, and Valkyrie are going to be the bans as we reach the end of it. And now it is time to get into round number 1 between these two teams. It is sure to be an epic affair, one that personally I'll be very surprised if we don't go the full distance for 3 maps on. So let's find out if that'll be the case with round number 1 right now. We're going to have BDS on defense, Reciprocity on the attack. And we're going to start out with a Lockers defense from BDS themselves.
Going to be seeing a lot of that Maverick come out to handle those hatches. Don't have a Hibana ban. That's a regular of Bank. Try and stop people from picking all of the hatches. It's going to knock it down to where you can only pick a couple because of Maverick having very minimal fuel inside of his torch and Thermite having to use one of those exothermic charges on the CCTV room's wall. So Lineup right now not looking too bad for the offense of Reciprocity. I like the Jackal pick from Laxing as well. Helped them out with the roam clear just a little bit. But we have Shaiko in his usual role. And now we got to talk about this one once again, John. We have to talk about Ella. We have to talk about RXWD. So with Ella being back in play and how prominent she has been throughout all of this tournament so far, you're going to be seeing a lot of her in between these two. She's back to being a gunner's favorite choice. The Scorpion is a great weapon again. She has amazing utility. Look to see her quite often, especially on these blue stairs setups like we're more than likely going to be seeing here in a couple seconds.
It should be noted as well that Ella, for the most part, has always had some, realm of viability, at least when it comes to this site. And they're using it in this specific manner right now, because I think RXWD does actually have the shotgun working for himself right now. So he is going to play it into the much more traditional Ella method that we've seen a lot of people been using over the past couple months.
And that means we're going to have a Lems downstairs inside of server. So a heavily stacked ATM take for the offense to split off in the back alley. So it looks like they're going to try and find themselves at the center of bank after a quick roam clear here, which they might actually have to do because it appears that someone is inside of E2.
Besides that, though, Shaiko holding the angle on that position.
That is so aggro.
Al's going to try to move back, though. Looks like he did get a little bit of damage off onto Nyx if I made the connection right there, so he'll drop down about 25 HP from it. But obviously nothing huge in that regard. Shaiko, however, remains safe and, more importantly, at full HP. So he's going to be able to retreat back down those main stairs and start to turtle up, as it looks like that's pretty much it for the roam game on BDS's side.
Punch hole from Laxing as they clear open area. Good take so far by Reciprocity. Found some footsteps. Not going to be Shaiko though. It'll be Rafal downstairs. That's the smoke. They're making good time as well. You can already hear the torch work from our good friend Foxe. So he's using that blowtorch on the hatches. If you do everything the right way, you're going to get 2 hatches. And we all know a particular guy that loves it when people get 2 hatches.
Foxe being particularly safe with this one as well, even going for the self-destruction just to make sure he doesn't overpeak. Shaiko going to take a massive spring of damage, I believe, from Laxing, as he's brought down to just under 25 HP now in a duel towards main stairs. Laxing just take a bit of damage in the trade as well. Not nearly as much when compared to Shaiko. Minute and 25 left here, still a good amount of time for Reciprocity. That's going to change over the next 45 seconds. The stress will start to set in. But they're not worried just too much as of yet, waiting for Foxe to get the rest of these hatches open.
This is the time to take their time, and they're doing a very good job of that. They have the entire map cleared. Nobody can possibly get upstairs. It's all going to have to be combative angles for BDS if they want to try and battle for these stair controls. But they'd much rather sit here and just wait with that utility in hand, especially with Rafal still up. Having those toxic babes is going to help you when they try and go for this plant. Ella's actually shifted gears on over to the main stairway here, but Breaching Ground is now going to remove the barbed wire, so we do have a down Nyx as he tries to get aggressive. This EVO shotgun so powerful. He's going to peek again. He gets yet another, so that's going to be 2 for RXWD.
RXWD holding the line over at main stairs. Laxing will be next up to bat to try and potentially contest this. 30 seconds remain for Reciprocity now, however, so they have to make sure this next one is going to be a success. RXWD spams in, but quickly retreats to the safe cubby corner on the right. Overexposes, but Laxing is not ready for it, and in the meanwhile, Renshiro is going to be able to grab vertical on another angle's attack. Laxing succeeds in taking out RXWD, but again, time is still incredibly low now for Reciprocity. 10 seconds remain. Foxe will dive in, and Alems will quickly dispatch of him. Now everything falls to Laxing in a 1v3. He does have Diffuser in hand, but no easy access to sight, and it just seems like time is going to get the better of him here. Raphael finally makes the push to take him out, and BDS claim round number 1.
Rafal, a great play, played very safe throughout that entire round, and overall a great read from BDS and what Reciprocity wanted to do. They just went for an open area drop, tried to force main stairs instead of going for a blue take and trying to put the diffuser down the regular way. The issue is, though, is that BDS had already shifted that Ella to the main stairs, and as you guys saw, that shotgun, even though it has had a recent nerf, is still very, very powerful. Not going to be bringing the exact same setup, but we are going to be going to a very unique site. We're going to open area. This is the only site in the entire map that you can drop into from a hatch and also leave the same way.
It's also a very rarely played site for the large part for a lot of teams. There's a couple, in this case BDS, that seem to have it as a bit of a pocket strat that they can bring out if needed. You very often will not see this site played at all on numerous bank plays. So let's see what exactly BDS have prepared for themselves. It's still one that teams can easily, if they know how to play it, defend with quite a bit of prowess.
Now this site is very unique, and we've seen it held a ton of different ways. Doesn't seem like they're going to be going for an entire mid-floor hold here through the archives wall. Well, as soon as I say that, Renshiro is actually going to start breaking that mini office wall here. So we might just have lines of sight established, and that's exactly what it looks like. So they're just going to keep just countering exactly what I'm saying. They're just a couple seconds too late every single time, but no, we're going to have a rotate made, so this is going to be a full mid-floor hold. All of Reciprocity spawning on the northwestern side. Get rid of that camera. Downwind, make sure those defaults aren't up. We've had a couple teams actually here having some trouble with that, so don't want to fall to the same mistakes.
More work to be done here from Rec on the intel game. It does look like a lobby push is going to be the way that they'll have to start this out. And that is indeed true when you look at that massive stack of blue silhouettes right outside the front door, a few of which on rappel. Looking for intel. One may even go all the way up to the top to check the skylight that's inside of this room. It's very rarely used, but Rec seems like they're playing extra careful right now, considering some of the aggression we've seen in the early round from BDS, even just off that first round.
Drones doing the rounds for Reciprocity. They now know that no one is upstairs, so they'll quickly grab control of that. They can start doing some reconstructive surgery on the floor. Maybe get themselves some freebies. Those are always nice if you catch somebody off guard. Issue is, though, Alems is playing Pulse, so you're going to be able to pay attention to quite a bit of this. There's just initial X-Kairos on the wall of Lone. Open up a sight, light sightline. Hey. Thank you, Stokes. Into E2. So they now have some vision to where that rotate is no longer safe from the teller's office.
Vertical continuing the wrap back down through main stairs. Now he's got self-drone intel about what's at the bottom of the stairs. He's going to try and creep up on that teller's defense that's been set up here. Shaiko manning the desk itself, ready to leap into action at a moment's notice. Doesn't have a great lockdown on any of these players' positions. Retro, meanwhile, is going to be caught out by a Nitro itself from Alems. Brings it down to a 5v4. Shaiko still a little cautious. Vertical, finally time to strike though. Moves out and finds Shaiko with his back turned away, and that'll be a free kill going to Reciprocity.
Patience goes to the hunter instead of the hunted. Shaiko almost had a very nice play at the front of Tellers, but Reciprocity looking pretty dominant now in this round. Diffuser's down upstairs, but they've only had one person killed. That's Retro, the Thermite. They still have plenty of hard destruction with Fox. Is going to open some holes into Papers, open up that hatch to the small office below. So now this gets even tighter for BDS. Not very many safe means of travel in between archives and the regular site.
Reciprocity, we said, with a lot of control upstairs, but not a massive amount. For instance, they haven't taken any square control right now. They could roam into upstairs relatively safely, but they don't have a way to know if anyone's on a quick rotate position or anything like that. Now droning through open area itself, you can see should have been able to spot one player down below, but a crucial mistake if they didn't catch the player in the corner. They did, at least, based on Vertical's POV right now, so they are going to be aware of that. Stun going into the corner. They're expecting it to rotate back through the soft wall there, but now time again getting incredibly low. They're trying to pinch this player out with a flank coming in from the outside window, but it's been castle barricaded, and they may have only just realized it as there's no attempt to get it open. 5 seconds remain. Another Nitro cell kill comes in from RXWD. Foxay does find one for the offending team. Alems spots out the player trying to plant in the corner, though. That's going to be it. BDS take round number 2 and a 2-0 lead with it.
Reciprocity just not quick enough on the redrone of the site in order to know where everyone was sitting when they went for that execute. A pretty early drop got them punished. This did not have the overwatch for that plant either. An amazing Nitro cell there to save the lives of BDS. They played that so very well.
Playing it incredibly well, incredibly passively for them too, never panicking, and like I said, they were definitely bringing aggression to the table, at least in round number 1, but it's all coming from Shaiko right now. The rest of the team is playing a pretty stalemated game for the most part, holding back and waiting for the pressure to come towards the site itself, and Reciprocity is taking it so slowly as well that it's often just wasting so much time away from the round.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Well, the beauty of it is if Shaiko does what Shaiko regularly does, he gets 2 kills, right? Yep. He's going to kill 2 people. That's going to remove whatever they have utility-based wise from the offense. And if Shaiko gets traded out, it's perfectly fine. It's a Jaeger. His ADSs are down. That's the beauty of Jaeger. With Vigil, it's super selfish utility. When you die with him, his backpack obviously doesn't drop on the ground, and you can pick it up. Jaeger, instead, you still get your ADSs, they still prevent those throwables, and that's exactly why he is still one of the best roamers in the entire game, and somebody that continuously is able to get aggressive without feeling too much of the burn for his teammates. Well, we are going to have a similar setup, but we are on the other side now. Haven't went upstairs just yet. Now we're in the Archives Teller site. So again, this is going to be a very similar take for Reciprocity. They still need to get upstairs. They still need that vertical play in order to get any sort of pressure on site. You're not just going to flood these doors.
Not going to be able to do that in any way, shape, or form, as BDS will immediately shut that type of play down. Reciprocity, though, still thinking that same opening round as they're going to move themselves into the lobby here. We've got Nyx up on the rappel, just trying to check down, take out some of this wooden barricades if there are any set up in the windows, and pre-firing a little bit. Hoping he might get lucky, but not going to be able to catch anything this early on. Retro, meanwhile, with the diffuser way on the other side of the map, so they're going to have to regroup on that. I'm curious to see why that's so detached right now.
Reciprocity's done a pretty good job so far of this initial clear. It just comes to the mid-round where things seem to fall apart. They just do not have enough time to do what they want to do. Really feels like that comes down to just not capitalizing on this information they're getting early. You can see how Laxing's droning through the upstairs, but there's really no one in tow to get control of that almost immediately when he's done. So they get upstairs, but again, if you got any information on someone roaming like Shaiko upstairs in paper, there's no one there to capitalize on that. He has plenty of time to rotate down square. He can get inside of meeting. There's so many different ways that he can travel without you knowing in that short amount of time in between you actually getting the info and when you're there to do something with it.
It's going to open up some of the floorboards here, sitting directly above Tellers. Looking to see if any players will reveal themselves on the other side of the equation, but it doesn't even fully break through the second paneling of floor, so he's got a really awkward angle to work with right now. It's going to be a bit unfortunate for Nyx.
He's just going to make his own with the R4C. It does everything. You can file your taxes with it. It's an amazing gun, trust me. Oh yeah, it'll do your taxes. Cool. It's an amazing tool. Just like this exothermic charge that's going down on the Teller's office wall. Tear open the left panel as Retro's going for the second one now, so both of his exothermic charges are gone. Retro's just another man with a gun. Fox A has the only hard destruction now. Vert will lose a camera, so this is getting harder and harder for Reciprocity to try and get info on site. Right now they're just playing angles and pre-firing through the softwall into Archives, but Alems and the rest of the squad of BDS just playing things passive, playing things cool, waiting for Reciprocity to make the first move.
Same as the last two rounds on BDS right now, with the exception of really just Shaiko, who moves in for an opening kill. Not a whole lot of aggression coming out from them. Vertical in the meantime, though, was able to find one, and they completely seem to miss Shaiko in the corners. He's going to spam through the wall and catch Retro as he goes for a quick plant, possibly. Fox A, once again, trades it back on RXWD, and now pushes it a step further as he's not pushing in from Tellers. He's pushing in the back lane. He's going to be able to take out Shaiko. Nyx with the next one as they eliminate Alems, and now Renshiro is all that remains to defend the line here for BDS and potentially pull off a retake, trying to sit and play passively. Remember, he's using that TCSG. It's a very wild weapon with a huge amount of recoil. He's going to have to control this very carefully on retake. Seems like at least one player from Reciprocity has a good idea as to where the retake may be coming from, and now that mystery is gone. Renshiro has to try and brute force this, looking for the appropriate angles, but just nothing revealing itself. Record playing the 3v1 perfectly, and there you go. Shut down by Nyx. Reciprocity get their first round onto the board.
Amazing way to handle that 1 versus 3 from Reciprocity. An amazing play by Fox A. Did you see that flank? That was amazing.
Just
comes
when they
in
needed
square.
it, too.
Exactly. Everything had went down the drain for them, Blue. Diffuser's down. Shaiko's in a corner that nobody can get an angle on without him ripping their head off. Hit a beautiful shot on the vertical on main stairs. There was no hope without that flank from Reciprocity. It was either Fox A makes that happen or he dies in Archives, and they have no chance in hell of putting a diffuser down. So an amazing, amazing play there from Fox A to keep Reciprocity in the fight.
Reciprocity in the fight, certainly for now, with 1 round onto the board, but needing to push it a bit further here. Going to go for the tie point now at 2-2, and for BDS, well, it's been 2 rounds since that initial victory. So the initial basement site that they played onto is now available for play once again, and they'll go back to it.
I've had so many conversations with the Reciprocity guys since being here, and one of the main things that all of them have been talking about is we feel really good as a team. It just comes down to communication. Sometimes we're not talking enough, sometimes we're talking too much, but we're starting to fill in those gaps that we need with info and plays and being more comfortable around each other. That was the main reason yesterday that Vertical played so well. He said, you know, I'm just starting to get more comfortable with how these guys play. I'm able to make these calls and go, hey, I'm going to do something risky, but I feel like it's going to work. Can I do it? And it's a resounding yes. There is no wait, let us get info. It's just go, do your thing, see what happens. That's how that rappel in the windows yesterday into the executive hall happened when he got that amazing triple kill. So Reciprocity looking little normal right now. They're starting to bring it back to center. I think that's a good thing. Those first 2 rounds, they were just moving too dang slow. It feels like they're starting to mesh more inside of this bank.
Garage pressure coming in this time from Reciprocity.
That's what
They
we
have
want.
problems getting downstairs, so let's just skip the stairs and go right down the ramp. Potential run out going to be happening here as well. Zofia responds with at least one of the stun charges, but I believe it got eaten up and does not end up blowing up successfully. Vert is leading the charge on that Zofia, and for BDS, it looks like they don't want the fight right now. They've backed up. They're not going to contest this, so for the most part, Vertical's going to be able to walk up at least to the armored car for free.
See if they have an Evil Lion here. That's really the only bit that they're going to need for info. It seems that Renshiro already knows that they're inside of Garage. It seemed to be a bait there for Vertical to try and get him to peek so that Laxing could actually get the kill off the back of the cop car. Very cheeky angle. People are starting to use more and more now, but Laxing's already rotated in. Very smart of him to use his utility to help his team clear, but they've already done that. Minute and 49 seconds, hard destruction's going down. You hear the exothermic off in the distance. Fox A is currently working on Red Hatch.
Now, the main reason why they're adding the secondary amount of pressure, oh my goodness, and they make it work too. Laxing finds one on his own, I believe, through one of the hatches. And on top of that, we have the garage angle, actually, that allows for them to pick up both of those kills. It's going to set up a nice early lead here for Reciprocity. BDS is not going to go down without a fight, that we still have RXWD sitting up on top of those blue stairs that's going to try and resist this play. A big cross angle going over towards the stairs too may explain how we saw Laxing pick up the kill previously, as the other one was claimed by Vert down in Garage. Away from that, though, the 3 remaining players on BDS, you still have RXWD up, who was really the main player that held back Reciprocity before. But with the way Reciprocity are attacking this, that same split is not going to bear the same fruit. Foxe now takes out Renshiro, and BDS are quickly falling apart.
Reciprocity putting a muzzle on the beast. They've already taken down 3. They need 2 to find, and if they do get them, it'll be a perfect round unless a body drops. 48 seconds. They have main stairs control. They've done a beautiful job of holding down these staircases and then not allowing these flanks to happen. Look how they're coiling around this site, everyone. You see them on main stairs. They get the kill on their fall. They're pinching now. They know exactly where RXWD is, and that's going to be a flawless round. Garage cover, server cover. It looks like Reciprocity is across the entire map, and BDS has nothing but a landfill.
Beautiful adjustment there from Reciprocity and realizing how solid the stairwell control was on the first round from BDS, specifically from RXWD on the L. They did not want to go up against that again, so they added the garage push to their angles this time. And for some reason, BDS again choosing not to contest that actively, even though they had all of the intel that it was being pushed right from the very start of the round. That came back to bite them in a big way. We saw their first kill picked up. Laxing also able to find a really nice snipe himself, and off of that, they continued to build up more and more of a lead throughout the round.
Overall, though, there's nothing really there for BDS. The issues that they had, they tried to fix with those rotates, but there really was no opportunity. Reciprocity was just so quick to the trigger. We're able to establish their lines of sight to both staircases. What are you going to do now? There's no way in hell you know that there's a lineup through an archive wall holding blue stairs. You can't have that info. So Shaiko tries to rotate, assuming that everything is clear after he quick peeks a couple times. Doesn't see the very tight angle that Lax is holding over to the corner. Beautifully played by Reciprocity overall. They just need to continue to do that. They're going to have another chance as well.
Reciprocity did say that they were going to have a bit of a focus on trying to lock down Shaiko, and it seems like that's exactly what they've shifted towards here in these first couple of rounds. Locking him down where it is possible. He actually really hasn't gotten away with a huge amount as a result of that either. So Rex certainly been succeeding in that. Just a little bumpy, at least at the start of this game, of getting their footing in terms of transitioning all that control to limit him onto a site. But now that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Reciprocity currently with control of a lot of these situations.
Pay attention to Reciprocity's pacing from that first round that we saw them attack. They're so much faster now, and these pre-placed drones are already ready. They're each droning in a different sector of the map. That's something that speeds up a lot of this control. Laxing currently calling that there's barbed wire inside of dirt, so they know that somebody's probably playing server downstairs. They're trying to decide how they want to handle this again, because Reciprocity obviously knows BDS needs to change to not have another flawless round. Reciprocity can't do the same garage strat. They have to go with something fresh. They have to go with something new. But they also need to worry about this. Those staircases are so very important to keep an eye on. You have to have a body on it, so the less you are in man count, the harder this gets.
RXWD once again potentially right here at the cusp of the push at the top of the blue stairs. Nyx is ready for the push if it works its way out, and they know that it's going to be coming in eventually. More spam coming out as well here from the members of Reciprocity. I believe to open up that same angle once again. Not hit their teammate as well. Foxay is going to take a little bit of heat from the electricity. Well, a little bit of shock from the electricity. Won't mind that too much for the time being, though. It's still less than 1 bar of HP overall.
Tis but a scratch.
There's RXWD once again. They've confirmed his position sitting behind the reinforcement. Kind of expected it to be at this point anyway. Now laxing again, as Reciprocity is not going to use the same thing twice here. Instead, they're going to try to push into dirt. Lems is aware of that, though. Has current overwatch over it to watch with the TCSG. RXWD trying to move out. Beautiful shot. Doesn't even need to scope in for it. Bye-bye, Nyx.
That shotgun of Ella, such a dangerous weapon, and RXWD is a maestro with it. Just playing this blue stairs to a T right now, 1 minute and 8 seconds, and again, you can see the difference in these last 2 rounds. Team Reciprocity had everything going for them. Now they're trying to get down blue stairs, and BDS is countering that in amazing fashion. Still have a Limbs downstairs as well. His Electro Claws are, I'm going to assume, on 2 separate hatches. He doesn't have any inside of his inventory. They still have a lot to do, though, with RXWD. He actually tosses one of his traps outside and stuns everyone, but Lems is going to catch Laxing trying to come up dirt. Everyone is inside blue as they flood, and it works out. Not enough shells for 3 bodies.
They do get a massive amount of damage off onto Retro, however, so RXWD will get the near completion of the kill onto him. He'll have to be very cautious, and more than likely, he's going to be kind of on standby for fragging duty for the rest of this game. 20 seconds left. They've got to rush to get this wall open and start the plant process as soon as possible. I believe that's only the first smoke gas grenade that's gone out from Rafael as well. Still 2 remaining indeed, so they're going to have to be very cautious of that as they move in. And no, he's immediately taken out when he tries to move in for it. Shaiko finds the second. Vert did trade on a Renshiro, but he's got 3 more players to find. Less than 5 seconds to do it. It's just impossible. Reciprocity are going to take an L on this round, and BDS pick up the lead again.
That blue stairs hold harms every single team. It's one of the hardest things to do in this game. And it's all about execution. We talk about this all the time inside of Rainbow Six Siege. You see it on every single map when there's a setup that you constantly have to play into. One that's extremely commonly known is the yellow stairs take on Consulate. We saw Reciprocity doing this yesterday. We saw a ton of teams doing this yesterday. Reciprocity is really not working out for them, and that's just because of the difficulties of being able to try and match up with your teammates in succession. It's a very difficult thing, especially when it comes to these bank stairs, because there's someone that if you mess up, you just instantly die. On yellow, it's just like, okay, we have to go somewhere else. Things are okay. Jaeger isn't just going to all of a sudden peek you from the yellow window or something like that. The blue stairs is a death trap. That's the entire setup. There's a shield there with the person with a shotgun and Grismont mines. Good luck.
Pretty much. And it works out brilliantly for at least 2 out of 3 of the attempts for BDS as RXWD is able to hold the line without that Thatcher. There's just no easy way to deal with the utility that's sitting on the inside of that stairwell, including some of the other places. I mean, RXWD, if you remember on first round, he didn't even really actively defend blue stairs by the end of the round. He had shifted over to main stairs and did essentially the same job just as effectively from that position, despite not having any of the utility. So Laxing and the rest of Reciprocity still just struggling to get past that point in the game right now. We're back to open area for the final round of the half, and we're going to have to wait and see if BDS can pull off the win again. As once more, Reciprocity faltered on this attack the first time they did it back in round 2 due to having a somewhat deceptive amount of control. Didn't have nearly the amount I think they believed they had at the end of that round, so ended up struggling to actually get into the site and start the play.
Well, here we go, round 6, the last round before we rotate positions, where Reciprocity will be on defense and BDS will be on offense. And BDS is going back to open area. This strat they ran earlier was very nicely set up, and Reciprocity really didn't have a chance at trying to get into sight. They kind of just sat in lobby and really didn't do anything. They did have top control, information-based wise, as well as having a few people upstairs, but nothing really came of it. They didn't really get any kills. We saw Shaiko show face a little bit, but again, there was nothing really redeemable from Reciprocity for that. There was no real progress made.
Reciprocity starting their move into the lobby once again, vertical. Once more in front and leading the charge for the team. Should be able to take out this castle barricade real quick. There you go. Bye-bye to that one. Now Shaiko getting ready to potentially take this fight in a second. He is hiding out here in the elevator hall, waiting for a potential challenge. He's got this rotate hold, as you can see. That can take him back to the inside of Tellers if he wants to play to that angle as well. A little bit timid right now, it seems, Shaiko. A little bit, kind of scared of potential flanks to drop onto him, either from that Tellers angle or even from upstairs on the main stairs. So he might end up backing away before he gets his chance to shine.
Shaiko's doing a fantastic job of reading into how Reciprocity has been playing this map so far. So he knows that they're going to want to take that top control, and they already have, but Nyx is actually all the way inside. Oh, he's going to get his first kill. Vertical gets the second. That's 2 headshots for Reciprocity. They're working their way into sight. They don't have anybody on site just yet, but they're damn close. Shaiko rotates into Teller's offices, has something to say about it, but Laxing shuts him down. 5 versus 2. Reciprocity is trying to be perfect this time. They don't want to give BDS a chance, but Rafal's rotated. He's coming into Archives now, but chooses to go up square. He's going for the long ball here, folks, instead of going for that instantaneous kill that he could have. Renshiro still locked down inside of sight. Stun grenades pouring in as Reciprocity bears down. He needs his teammate to do something, but he hasn't answered the call just yet. Rafal, so much patience on this man as the timer continues to tick down.
Again, Reciprocity realizing the importance of taking square control. Rafal, beautifully done, moving up. He's just going to go for as fast of an execute as possible. 1, 2, maybe 3 kills. He can't kill the planter. He's looking for it so hard, but finally gets the job done. That's a triple for Rafal. Beautifully done. And now 2 more stand in his way. The only issue, though, he's alone in this fight. Has no one else to support him. A 1v2 now sits in front of him. This would be a complete ace if he pulls it off. Gets himself behind the desk. Going to start the counter defuse now. 5 seconds remaining. Vert's going to go for the push. They realize he's on counter defuse, and Vert stops the clutch attempt, gives the round over to Reciprocity as they take another round at the end of the first half.
That was truly terrifying and an amazing play from Rafal to find that space. Instead of going for the instant kill that he could have gotten inside of Archives, he rotates up square while Reciprocity is bearing down on sight from elevators and is able to find 3. An amazing kill on that Hibana, and again, some great patience to make sure that he knew where the other 2 targets were before he took his first shot. Now, though, going into the swap, we will have Reciprocity on defense. They're headed downstairs first, and it looks like we're going to get their E2 hold here with that castle barricade set up. Fox Ace getting rid of the Mira as well. She's launched to the sun, and we're grabbing Legion.
The important thing I think that Reciprocity caught on to about halfway through that first half was their need to control not only lobby area for those pinches, but also square. They weren't really utilizing square, I noticed, in those first 2 rounds, and I think that lack of square control was what really messed them up on the first open area attempt. They had
almost messed them up in that last one.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they got square control initially, and then they kind of ignored it halfway through the round, so that's how that flank ended up happening.
So this is the thing that usually happens. You still have 5 people alive.
Yeah.
No one's dead to watch drones. That's a real thing. Sometimes having someone that actually has died earlier in the round can benefit you because there's a flank drone. Instead of having somebody that is a living being still, just sitting in a corner on a drone, which obviously has to happen most of the time. There's somebody watching flank, but usually with a drone so you can peek off of that info without them knowing that they're there yet. But the issue with that is, right there in your face, Rafal was able to rotate up square with no one having any idea on where he was.
All the way from basement as well, because he came up through blue, so it made a pretty massive rotate and went completely unnoticed that entire time.
Around the world in 40 seconds.
Exactly. All right, guys, well, obviously it's past halftime now, so the teams have switched sides. Reciprocity is on the defensive half. BDS is now on the attack. Let's see what they're going to try and work themselves toward, as they've already started to work towards some self-destruction here. Lem's in for top floor control.
Oh, they know he's there.
They've got a lockdown onto this member of Rec holding the upstairs elevator opening.
Uh-oh.
Try to run. Oh, it's got the hatch drop, though, so he's going to bypass Alems. They seem to still have a good idea of where this player's positioned, though. Going to try to see if they can spot them out with one more breaching charge, but that's not to be the case. It seems as though our member of Reciprocity on the roam has made it back safely.
BDS working so fast. You can definitely tell they've done their research. Reciprocity's run this setup quite often, and they ran it yesterday as well, so BDS knows exactly what they want. They're also handling their roam clear from all the way upstairs when Reciprocity does have those mid-floor players. They just want to see if they can possibly get a free kill from these angles inside of Archives, but there's nobody home currently from Reciprocity. They're all inside of open area, doing a bang-up job of wasting some time. We're almost halfway through here, but again, it is BDS. They can change things on a dime.
First stun charge going in and back down to the basement area of the main stairs. It seems as though it didn't go far enough, though, as Alems ended up self-stunning himself. He's going to try to wrap out, but that's where Laxing's waiting as he dropped down and got the safe escape earlier. Even had a Hibana to try and clear him, but it didn't end up mattering. Still going to be noticed there now as he finds that first kill against Alems, and Shaiko and the rest of BDS suddenly have to shift their focus on dealing with him. And time may not be on their side for much longer here if they don't get the job done quickly.
You got to check those, baby. This is NA, we're rats. That's all I'm saying. You got to make sure to check those angles, because every single time you don't, that's exactly where Laxing's going to be. The guy always seems to find that little hole in your offense where he can sit and no one will drone, and it's going to happen again. Alem's a lot of utility down. Renshiro by himself all the way down blue now. Can establish a line of sight through the wall with his breaching round, pre-firing into garage. Still was a soft panel. Oh, RXWD whips out the bearing 9, but it doesn't get him anything. Vertical with the M590 wins it. BDS on their hind heels here, but no, Shaiko's already flooded into sight. He's pre-firing through the wall. He gets himself a kill under Retro inside of Gold Vault as well. All of the pressure coming through. It's mounting, but Vertical fights back with the SMG-11. Renshiro as well as Rafal, both inside of sight as well. They are trying to rotate to try and get a couple more gunfights, but it's on the flank, and Reciprocity shuts it down.
Vert's our main man for that round on Reciprocity there. Pulls off and holds that main stairs push when finally BDS was ready to start trying to take some control. And not only that, but he kills the initial drop in Shaiko, which he initially got away with that opening kill and was going to start leveraging for more control, but he missed the rotate from Vert to the inside of lockers, and he was able to find that trade. Two very important kills that I think saved Reciprocity from disaster, and now, more importantly, has given them the lead in the map.
I love how BDS is trying to take the fight to them, though. They notice that they're wasting a lot of time, and instead of trying to go for some magnificent execute, just throw our bodies on sight. They almost won it. The only thing that really stopped them was that flank from Nyx. Yeah. Truly, that's really it. Otherwise, yeah, you still have the guy die there, but it's Shaiko. I mean, I don't know what you really want. Like, it's true. You know. Oh, excuse me. Actually, Shaiko wasn't even. Shaiko died to the guy inside of offices. That's, apologies on that. It's actually Rafal and RXWD. They were the last two remaining. Caster, by the way.
We know nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
All right, guys. Well, into the prep phase, and it seems as though Reciprocity's got themselves a nice open area strat to play into as well.
Good change up here as well.
I can do it as well.
Huge change up. So they're going to do the exact same rotate into archives, but they're actually going to keep soft walls inside of kitchen, which is something BDS did not do. Yes, right here. Thank you so much, Medics. Beautiful man. So that line up now.
Like a much more active hold in Tellers, the way things are lining up.
Yeah, this is so they're setting up a bunker inside of Tellers, as you said, and they have a safety rotate out here. So what BDS needs to do is they need to take control of Lone here in the front lobby and open up that line of sight so they can't safely rotate out while having people play square. Then you isolate off that entire rotation parameter from happening. Like, there's nothing they can possibly do. They can't go out the back door. The only hatch that is available to them is inside of the Tellers front. There's no real place to go.
By the way, it's Marcio observing.
Oh, is it Marcio today?
It's Marcio.
Oh, apologies. I love you, Marcio.
Called out, man. Come on.
He didn't say hi to me. He always says hi to me when he's observing.
Misrepresenting her.
I blame Marcio.
How dare you. But yeah, it is Marcio.
They've both been doing fantastic this entire event. Especially with the new UI.
Very true. Making great use of all the information that we have in front of us now. Making our jobs a lot easier, that's for sure. BDS starting their move for control. It's going to start with Renshiro moving in through the lobby. Uncontested for the most part here. Like we said before, Reciprocity set up a bit of a bunker for themselves in Tellers. They want to avoid direct confrontation from those angles if they can help it. Rest of the team has moved upstairs for swift control themselves, and seems like it's going off without a hitch. We don't got quite a few players from Reciprocity still that are going to be in their way, especially towards the elevators later on in the round. But here we go, opening up that angle into the main hallway by elevators and the main stairs. It's going to restrict Rec pretty heavily now, at least with regards to their capability to rotate.
Well, you can tell that BDS gets the memo. They have a setup extremely similar to this, so they should know how to handle it. It's typically how it goes. If you make a strat that's like that, you know what people have to do in order to break said strat. Plenty of info from Renshiro on this drone, and he finds a castle, but no, it's Laxing once again. Where even is Laxing? He kills Rafal. That's Thermite. Thermite was getting the elevator, and he's in the elevator again, but on the next floor. Laxing just lives here.
Second time in a row he's gotten away with elevator kills just because nobody...
What the? What?
Oh, no.
What? You're kidding me. Gabriel, you can't do that. They have families.
There must have been a missed call that he dropped then or something like that, because that's the only way they would try to go for that so haphazardly. He doesn't even look at him. Just completely ignorant to it. Vertical is going to get dropped by RXWD as he's just in the site in the meantime, but that means nothing right now with the split control that BDS have for themselves. Finally going to be able to drop in and start the plant process. However, Rec, like we said before, gonna have to now rotate in. There we go. There's the first player going down. RXWD is dropped more, rotating in from Beepers. They're not gonna be able to stop the plant, however. BDS at least get that far, but they have no way to set up a post plant. Rec has an immediate retake scenario set up for themselves, and they pull it off with ease. Still 3 players left alive at the end of it all.
That was masterfully done by Reciprocity. Laxing. That's the entire round. Laxing. He kills Shaiko. He kills, I believe, Rafal on the Thermite. Overall, an amazing round for him. Gets him both inside of the elevator, which they definitely should have known about. That definitely tells you that something is going wrong inside of comms for BDS. They should have known that he was there, and the fact that Laxing killed that guy and then just stayed is insane. Actually insane. He obviously calls he has diffuser upstairs. It might have been, hey, waste some time. If they want to try and gunfight you, just drop. But he gets a kill anyways. Shaiko just runs right up, tries to grab the diffuser, and gets gunned down from behind. That retake, though, definitely showed you how the strat was set up. They opened up all of the walls inside of open area to where you can see every single square inch of the entire site, and then they don't play the site at all. They want you to take the site so that they can go play the angles that they established to hold from other areas of the map. And it worked perfectly. BDS fell into the trap. They had 3 up. They go, okay, we have control. RXWD's already worked his way in with Habana. We have our space that we need to be able to get a diffuser down here. Until Reciprocity starts rotating upstairs to play the hatches, start playing the horizontal angles that we saw made from archives and things along like that. So for BDS, it really was just that blunder at the very beginning that cost them that. They were already down so many men that there was really nothing to do at the end of the day.
Sloppy for BDS. Not going to be able to let things like that happen, especially not 2 rounds in a row where he's able to get away with those kills. First one has a much more direct contention this time compared to what we had in the last round, but the second kill is the same thing. Just a missed call or a lack of calls allows Laxing to get away with a double kill there. Stunt the remaining BDS roster. Well, yes, they did still get it to a plant. That was really all part of the design from Reciprocity in the first place.
Okay. All right, I'm going to say it. So, North America's having all of the representatives go to the main stage.
It's map 1.
Nope, I'm calling it right now.
It's map 1.
If you're going to call things, you got to call it right. You got to do it early. You can't do it when it's guaranteed.
We're predicting NA Massive here.
We're predicting NA Massive. It has to happen.
Oh,
Europe.
Foxe as well with the jump out on the Vigil. Catches Shaiko on Repel, and that's another advantage to Reciprocity in the early round. RXWD, though, has a reply to that. I think Foxe tries to do the same thing again and gets caught this time. Let's see, where did he get clipped off at? Oh, actually,
wow.
He got caught trying to go back downstairs. Nice catch from RXWD.
It's a hell of a shot as well, threading the needle there. You don't get to see too much of that hatch drop either, so to get that headshot is actually extremely impressive.
Quick counter from RXWD right there.
That's the thing about BDS. They think very quickly on their feet, but sometimes they're just blunders like what happened in that last round.
It's a bit sloppy, but only one time that it's happened so far. Technically 2 times that it's happened so far, but just one crucial mistake that can be very easily fixed. So
they've been looking great with Alems as well, and Alems told me he's very happy to be coming in French again. It's made it very easy for him to be able to transition in, but he's going to have to do a lot more than just transition, and Nitro Cell gets thrown at him, it explodes, but Nyx takes one on the other end of things. Renshiro dies. That's going to be one of the entry fraggers here. Alems catch one prone, though, as Laxing tries to go through open area. He gets 2. Retro dead as well. That's a double for Alems on the round. Only 2 remaining members from Reciprocity as they're dancing with death inside of Archives, but that's only one of the members. Where is Vertical? They need him now to try and do something. He's worked his way over to open area, but a nice shot from Nyx once again with that TCS G12. Alems refrags, though. That's a triple for him now. It's all up to Vert, but he's holding the entrance. Do they know that he has this line of sight?
Alem's so confident in the angle that he took. They're able to line up the triple kill, and Reciprocity are moving around so consistently. He maintains that lean-in that he has and is able to line up a triple kill from it. Plant going down in the meantime. That's going to give away. Oh, I don't think he thinks that he's still at this angle, and there you go, Alems. One more bullet is all that's needed, and BDS shut down the round. Was looking so promising from Reciprocity, but primarily this hold right here from Alems saves BDS and gives him a quad kill on it.
That was an amazing take by BDS, and as you said, that's just a shining moment there for Alems in a very significant role. Had the angle to get so many kills. Reciprocity just kept throwing bodies at him, and he took all 4 that they gave. Amazing round on offense by them as they're trying to bring this back. Almost tied up now, though, but that does mean that we are going to have the locker CCTV room opened once again for Reciprocity, and they're going to go straight there. But the reason that I am calling that NA is going to make all 4 of the representatives get out of groups is because Reciprocity would rather be damned than be the only NA representative to not make it out of groups. I'm telling you, like, it isn't even like, oh, Stokes bias caster. Like, no, it's literally like, I don't even think that they would be able to function if they were the only NA representative to not make it out.
Well, we'll have to see if they can find their way out of this group and, more importantly, find themselves to be the last North American team to push their way through and complete the, be a quadfecta or whatever. I don't really know.
The quadfecta.
I don't really know if that's a word, to be honest with you, but the 4 quad grouping of teams to make it through into the quarterfinals for the next few days here as we start the playoff contention. 5-4, the current scoreline. Reciprocity, yes, in the lead, but the most recent round lost would be their first defensive loss. So now they can go back to the basement, play into that, and see if they can take another round away from BDS and set themselves up for a map point.
We're back to the default teams for Reciprocity on the defense. Made some lines of sight for the hatch downstairs, so if that drop happens, don't have to worry about too much. Overall, though, between these 2 teams, it's been a lot of fighting, and it's been very fast-paced. It's something that, between you and me, haven't had a crazy amount of over these last couple of days. None of these crazy rounds that have been happening, but BDS is definitely ramping things up. Reciprocity is doing a very good job of keeping pace, though.
The drone work being done here right now. Good amount of clear on the first floor, as it's a bit more timid this time from Reciprocity, taking a much slower pathing. RXWD is going to chuck a flash out towards the main stairs so we can create some hole pathing into these hatches. Not going for the full clear on the one by the desk just yet. It looks like he's going to be popping open the one on the inside of admin first.
Great take by BDS so far. You can see through the walls those red silhouettes of where everyone is currently positioned. Right now working on those hatches, making some easy rotates for them so they can come assist their teammates if they need it. Don't have to worry about the hatch that's currently electrified inside a square, though, as they do have everything else up to them. But we saw how dangerous these blue holds can be. Doesn't seem like Reciprocity has too much utility there, though. ADS is obviously, but they are going to have Laxing playing there with those smoke grenades. Don't see a shield or anything. They just have Vert down below him to try and counteract if somebody wants to try and get aggressive onto server.
Venturo's starting to wrap around, but he's alone right now for that blue stairs push. Oh, and now Lems gets the lineup through Great Car to knock out Nyx as he gets just a tad too aggressive to face check into the garage. That's an advantage over to BDS, but only a small one. They've got a little over a minute left. Plenty of time, though, given the progress that BDS has already made of lining up and execute. But now Vert will strike back, finds the trade for the team to take down RXWD. Vert now finds a second as well. Renshiro goes down. That's going to become a problem very quickly as BDS is trying to force this execute, but they're very quickly losing the manpower they have to do it.
Rafal inside of the elevator downstairs, Alems inside of the garage. It's all on these 2 to try and win out this round. They're going to need a couple kills. Shaiko opens it up onto Vert. It's now a 3v3 as they're trying to fight for control of the site. Shaiko kills Retro, who was prone inside of the site. Shaiko with a triple kill to try and shut down all of Reciprocity. It's down to Laxing. No smoke grenades in hand either. They don't have too much intel. Shaiko's on plant. Alems is still up and breathing as he's holding this angle so that he can't get access. Laxing shut down. BDS Esports with a great take and planting on B instead of A.
BDS, definitely a rocky start to the execute for themselves. It seemed like Reciprocity were just going to be able to hold in normality, but does not end up happening. Shaiko goes absolutely massive with his entry capability and just brute forces his way into the site for the team, knocking Rec out and now forcing them onto a timeout.
That's a perfectly timed timeout by Hopes as well. That should have never been able to happen. You never see things go quite as successful as that did with an elevator drop and a push from garage. But BDS still finds a way to make it work. That's a big issue for Reciprocity right now. That was really all up to those rotates that they had, but as you guys saw, they were really all nipped in the bud very, very early on. So for Reciprocity, this is more than likely going to be an attempt back downstairs again, but they might try a sort of different setup. They went super default with that. It was very, very vanilla. Smoke on the stairs is something that even happens inside of ranked games, you know? So it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It's just the fact that what Reciprocity had going for them before was more pressure off of the site. They were able to roam around inside of elevator. They had some safe space inside of open area as well. And they were trying to fight BDS off for just the map control to get hatches open. This time around, they gave it to them, went for the turtle, didn't work out.
All right, well, it's upstairs where Reciprocity will now take their duel next. Game has been resumed, of course. We'll have the 6-pick phase still, as the pause was not cold until that point. And now taking a look, we do have a 6-pick coming in for RXWD. He's going to move over from the Maverick to the... Okay, I thought he was just going to stick on the Maverick, but looks like he will 6-pick in the Ash. So it's interesting to see the 6-pick on the Ash specifically. You keep an eye on that. See if there's anything more to it when the active phase comes in here. Just about 40 seconds.
Well, Reciprocity goes all the way upstairs instead of going back down. Honestly, probably a good call. Don't want to stay with the same thing. Laxing going to be on Alibi, a very unique operator with prismas of herself. And if you hit one of them, or holograms, it actually marks you a couple of times within 5 seconds. So you're more than likely going to see those on that north window set. So if anybody tries to pre-fire through him, he's got some lines of sight for that. So overall, a pretty clean setup. Haven't reinforced inside of Papers yet, but Fox A will fix that. They need some rotates as well set up in there so that you can transition from the main office, where Retro is currently standing, into Papers and eventually into Meeting. Kind of one big carousel, this side is.
Big wraparound that Vert at the moment is taking massive contention on. We've had a lot of front lobby play here, but Vert is taking that in stride and is definitely standing up right on the top of the banana, waiting to see if he can maybe get himself an early fight, but not going to be happening. Thankfully, it's pretty well barricaded. It's actually Nyx taking that opportunity for himself. It's such a hard angle to hit, even with the ACOG at this right here, but Nyx is looking for it. He's got to be careful, though. Does lose just under 25 HP, when instead, I believe it's RXWD spots him from the other side of it.
That's dangerous as well, because now they know that Nyx is inside of that position in elevator, so there's not very many places to be able to escape, especially when you're a 3 armor. You can't move very fast, and bullets move a heck of a lot faster than you do. So good luck with that. Nyx is going to take even more damage now inside of that very, very good location. Shaiko actually working his way towards red stairs, but chooses to go towards main instead. Still has to worry about somebody on the mid-level with him, but Retro's actually going to start us off. He flies out the north windows, and he's running right to dirt. Is he going to get away with this? Laxing is going to get a kill into Shaiko as well, who is in main lobby.
Retro's good. We don't need to follow that anymore.
Very important. He's still just wasting time outside. RXWD has to sit here and wait for him to do something or walk all the way across, and he needs to check every single window as he goes to kill this guy. This is such a huge time waste. Pay attention to this timer.
Got players on the roof too, just focusing on being able to execute him. Man, this is a good 30+ seconds just gone from the round timer. They're gonna find him. He's still not dead. He's still got another 15 or so HP. Finally, Alem's on the roof is gonna be the one that gets him. But now they've got just over a minute left. They're just now getting some of their players onto the rappel. Retro, although he goes down, they still have a +1 man advantage at this point, and he wastes probably a solid minute off the clock with those shenanigans. Great stuff from him. RXWD also going to jump on rappel here too. Alem's got off it and worked his way inside to the main lobby. They do get a hard ping onto the player playing on Banana right now, just outside of the site. Alem's in the meantime potentially missing an opportunity to catch Laxing as he ran through open. I'm not sure if the angle was revealed or not to him. Alem's again still getting intel on the player, trying to hop out onto the banister up atop of Spiral. Just can't lock him down at this point. Alem's taking it very cautiously, and it ends up being a massive bait at the end of the day, as Nyx has an angle against him anyway, and we've got a rappel coming into lobby as well here from Rafal.
These are some very unique angles. RXWD's worked his way through stock, though. Rafal rappels all the way down, so they more than likely got that sound cue. Nyx is going to be laying on the table inside of Meeting, though. He gets fragged out. Rafal in a gunfight. Tellers kills Laxing. RXWD gets a kill as well. All of a sudden, it's a 1 versus 2 with Vertical. He's been so pivotal throughout this entire series so far, and he does it again. A double kill lines up inside of Checkers for Reciprocity.
We talked about how critical Vert was going to be to this team's success today. Didn't really see it as much on day number 1, but on day 2, he has awoken and has continued that performance on to day number 3. This has been a massive 2 series so far for Vert, and he's looking to carry that through and truly make this SI legendary for himself. 6-5, as it's going to be Reciprocity to get themselves up on the map point first on their own map pick. Into the basement is where they're going to try and end this now, or take us to OT if we see more success from BDS.
I can feel this one. This is only map 1, and there's already so much energy between these two. It's truly incredible. RXWD 6-picking to the Jackal. The take overall from BDS, not too shabby the last time. The only real issue that they had is they just played a little bit too long with not having refrag capabilities, and Reciprocity capitalized on that. If they were able to get those refrags early on, that's a BDS round all day, but they were not able to do that. It seems that BDS is to the point now where they're playing very, very loose. We see a lot of solo pushing. We saw Ash go into Papers, which no one was really truly ready for except for Nyx, but even then, RXWD still got all of those kills and made that a round that Vert had to clutch up in.
Phase finishing up here now. Reciprocity looking to close out, bringing a little load up to what we've seen from them previously on this site. As far as BDS is concerned, once again, bringing all of that hard breach to the table. They want to be able to open up everything with Fall on Thermite. Shaiko also bringing the Habana to the table. And in the meantime, the only one we're missing here is Maverick, which is the one that they 6-picked out in the last round anyway. RXWD is instead bringing the Jackal to the table. Sledge and Renshiro for the extra support.
Don't laugh at me. I told you I woke up feeling good. I saw that. I heard the giggle. I heard it.
Listen, man, no one was going to say anything. Now they're wondering.
Hey, now I was jumping up and down.
Now they're wondering what you're doing.
I was jumping up and down. I'm very happy.
Doing some weird stuff, guys.
It's Six Invitational.
Very uncomfortable right now.
Don't lie. So mean. I'm just happy, man. I'm here commentating Rainbow Six Siege. It's my favorite thing to do, and BDS is rushing into ATMs. That's something I love to watch. And you know what else you like to see? Laxing killing people. RXWD, Jackal, dead. They have no more ability to try and find any footsteps. Renshiro, though, inside of Kitchen with Habana. That's Shaiko. They're trying to take this in a completely new way. Have to worry about 2 people inside of open area as well. You can see Alem's upstairs battling the man inside the elevator hallway. It looks like he has info as well up there. We'll see if the kill comes through.
It's on Vert sitting down below. Laxing is instead going to fall next as they trade on him. Vert sitting in the very back of open, though, is still going to be a problem for these guys. Swings up, but Shaiko swings onto his head, knocking Vertical out of the equation. It's a 4v3 now that BDS is taking control of the wheel here. Just has to move the car down to the site.
Hopefully that car acts fast. We're 1 minute and 30 seconds in now, folks. Nyx, Retro, and Foxay, the only 3 remaining members of Reciprocity. And it's going to be on them to try and close this out in regulation. Otherwise, we're going to OT here on our first map, that is Bank. So it's an off-site setup. They are playing downstairs. The issue is now, though, they really don't have any smoke grenades or anything to break line of sight from Reciprocity when they do go for that plant. So that could play into this, could be extremely pivotal. Shaiko and Rafal, the only 2 hard destructors, but Alem's moving fast, and he gets one. Nyx down as he tries to hop over into Red Hallway. Catches him on that rotation hole. So very important. Alem's breaking up the soft panel that they kept up to try and put this default plant down. Retro's still alive, but barely breathing. Only 27 HP. They need to get these smokes to try and stop this plant. It looks like he's going to be able to get it through the wall, and it does indeed stop him. They're going to have to try and dance with this. How many smokes does Retro have, though? He still has 2, so he can deny 20 seconds, folks. Also, someone's been down, but Shaiko's holding a super aggressive angle. Do they know he's here?
Fall can still be rezzed back up, and in fact, that's what's going to happen right now. More players are going to start moving in and take full control of the site. You can see Shaiko maintaining his current control. Renshiro putting down the plant right now. Retro and Foxy trying their best to swing out and get some type of kill here. A little bit of team damage going on to Shaiko there, too, from another one of their players. He's got the lineup, though, to eliminate Retro, and now everything falls to Foxy. A 1v4 set before him. He has rotated all the way upstairs, looking for anything that might be exposed from the hatches, but it's not looking likely. Players on BDS have a great post-plant setup for themselves right now, and it's just not looking possible for Foxay in this scenario. OT is becoming more and more like the reality, and in fact, now they spotted him on the drone. They know that the flank is coming. Renshiro shuts it down. BDS claims the 12th round at the end of regulation and takes us to overtime.
Well, it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't OT, right?
That's true.
That's how it works. It has to be OT, otherwise the map really wasn't that entertaining. But that means, guys, we're going to have a coin flip defense, or excuse me, coin flip overtime, which basically means since somebody who started on the offense will now start on the defense, and the people that start on defense will now start on the offense. So you can see BDS is going to start on the offense. It's a best of 3 in these OTs. This is not unlimited overtime. Let's just wipe that away.
All right, so
yeah, so basically what I was trying to say is it's not a coin flip. What I meant by like that is that they basically switch sides, is what I was saying.
Attackers need
Yeah.
to
So they started the
locate
offense, they go to defense, the defense goes to offense for OTs. That's how it works.
yeah. So Rex back on defense here now.
Over explanations are fun.
BDS on the assault this time around. And we'll see how well things go. It's back into the basement here too, so Reciprocity get one more attempt to shut things down. Like you said, it's OT, so all sites have been reset and unlocked as well, so they've got a plethora of options open to themselves wherever they should want to go for this opening round. But they've only got this opening round. BDS will jump on to the defense for the next one, and they will switch one more time for that third and final round. So Reciprocity does have a slight edge here, being given that starting defense.
And you can tell how well Alims has worked into this BDS roster. We just hit OT. He's 14-2-6. He hasn't been doing a crazy amount of entry either. He's just been in those very pivotal roles of flank watch and sometimes pressuring the site. It's worked out very well for him. He's gotten quite a few kills just being in the right place at the right time, but that's exactly what they need. They need somebody like that, and Alims is filling that role perfectly. Shaiko, 9 kills, almost in the double-digit area, but that could change with time. BDS has been working very fast on their offenses, so I expect nothing less this round.
It's been the 2 new pickups there once again on Reciprocity. You got both Vertical and Nyx that are actually leading the frags right now for Reciprocity as well, 13 and 10. So same story as day number 1, really, with the individual performances from Reciprocity. That doesn't mean the other players haven't been doing a great job as well.
Yeah, just because you have a lot of kills doesn't mean you're super impactful. There's plenty of rounds where you get a 4K and then die, and it means truly nothing.
Laxing specifically has been doing really good in this matchup too, where he's been a little bit hit or miss, I think, over the last 2 days.
Sometimes you gotta be a rat to make things work, my friend. So serious. Whoever plays the rattiest angle is the one that wins video games. That is how it goes. BDS, though, slowing things down. I have RXWD here with the Jackal track, but it's going to be Foxay to capitalize on it first. Gets rid of a drone for good measure as well. Again, look, BDS all by themselves, really no one there to be able to assist RXWD. Shaiko's worked his way into open area. Again, a very unique setup here from Reciprocity. A lot of reinforcements in some very weird places, as you can see to the right-hand side of Shaiko's screen right after he kills Nyx.
First kill going down as they're able to dispatch of Nyx. Rest of Reciprocity keeping it very quiet right now. Shaiko sitting right by beepers waiting. There's one player, it looks like, deeper in. They're still going to have to deal with this offsite setup that actually, again, could be something that BDS doesn't check properly with Laxing sitting in the elevator. Man, if he gets away with that for a 3rd time, that's going to be absolutely incredible. Oh my god, it's looking so likely too. Alims, they're going to be able to isolate out Foxay, but like I said, that's not really the one I'm worried about right now. It's Laxing that again goes unchecked on the inside of elevators, taking out Shaiko and falling back down the hatch into sight.
Oh no. So Renshiro impacted this wall. That means that that lip at the very bottom forces you to plant inside if it's high enough. So there's a huge risk that Rafal's back will be exposed when he goes for this default plant and they can shoot him. Very, very likely, unless they're very lucky on how that broke there. Looks, do you see how they tried to shoot out the bottom of the hole after they did it? That's all because of where they had to plant. That's why they shifted over and got the other wall, because otherwise he has to plant all the way inside, but it fully exposes it. Nitro cells are a little bit easier now, but a nice shot from Laxing and Retro knocked it down to just Renshiro. It's a 1 versus 3. He doesn't have time to put a diffuser down all by his lonesome, so he has to get aggressive. He takes down Vert, but he's still got 2 to find, and they're playing so very safe. He's been down. It's the double pump for Reciprocity, and they claim round 13.
That's the 3rd time now. I know I'm over-exaggerating this at this point, but the 3rd time that Laxing has sat in elevator, either gone unchecked or uncalled, and gets away with 1 or 2 kills. It's absolutely insane to me that BDS have not latched onto this and started to counter it better yet.
Did you know that Laxing wrote a book?
What's the book?
Getting Away with Murder.
3, 4 times, apparently. Oh, my goodness. It's getting to me, man. It's getting to me.
It's ridiculous. And the thing is it's the exact same positions.
Yeah. Like,
exact same.
Yeah, pretty much. I think one time he was like upstairs. Like, that's the only difference. But
I'm no gambling man, but if I was a gambler, I would say Laxing's going to sit in the elevator.
it's a guarantee at this point for him. Is with just based on statistics. Might as well keep doing it. And even if they do check you, we haven't really ended up in a situation where Laxing just had a straight up even fight there either. So, man, Laxing really making an impact from the inside of that elevator, and BDS just mistake after mistake with leaving it unchecked. Besides that, once again, the attack looks good. A few risks here and there, but Reciprocity just far too much control still at that, delta timer for them to be able to be pushed out of sight.
That is why Reciprocity cannot play default against BDS. You see how good BDS it is at handling those default setups? They need to go with these more unique setups to really throw off BDS and force them to IGL, force them to make adjustments. Because as you guys have seen throughout this series so far, whenever BDS doesn't know exactly what to do, they can't follow through. It's just a lot of throwing bodies at sight and hoping that it sticks. And right now it's not. It got them to OT, but Reciprocity is starting to do these very weird setups once again. There was another setup where we had reinforcements blocking the kitchen wall. I mean, Reciprocity getting very, very unique with how they're doing things.
Round well underway at this point for Reciprocity's attack, getting a good idea as to what they'll have to go up against. In case you haven't noticed, it is another basement attack. Once more for the new viewers that might be out there getting a bit potentially flustered right now, but what's going on? BDS just switched on to defense as we're in overtime. Teams now switch every single round. And BDS obviously is a different team than Rex, so they can go to the basement as well since they don't have the same sight locks to play against.
Yeah, and once again, this is not infinite OT. If Reciprocity wins this round, it will be good as a gravy in 8-6. But if BDS ties it up, it's just one more round. Whoever wins that will finish it off 8-7. So you don't have to win by 2 here. You just have to be the first to 8.
Yep. Basically, just a short BO3 in rounds once you get to OT, so just keep that in mind. Laxing finishing his drone work there. Gonna move in, just taking out the soft wall, leading his team to the open area.
Uh-oh.
Got this L-up position again here as well for BDS that's already proven itself to be quite the problem. Interestingly, though, we got the buck in play for Laxing, which is going to try and get them better angles in order to deal with this and better positioning in terms of what they have to deal with from an exact perspective. I think he manages to spot out the Elamine there as well.
Marcio, can we see the extended version for their utility very quickly? Thank you so much, my good friend. So we have 9 stuns here. This is what this plan is. Burn all of them and then nade at the same time. Laxing needs to get that grenade in there. Is it going to kill him? Oh, and it does! Laxing, Reciprocity, they break the blue stairs hold. That is why you bring 9 stuns. Just stun dump, burn the utility, and now you have blue stairs. They know that someone's in server, though. It's a Lems. He's been droned out. They see him. They know exactly where he is. They have his cross. Nitro Cell could bag him a lot, though, and it does! Reciprocity is not moving fast enough, and the Lems a secondary string of defense.
Now going to have to get past him as well, just through a pure brute force. Lems, though, does get taken out by Laxing. Now finds his second kill on the round. The first one, the overwhelming odds against RXWD with his nade. The second, just a straight-up push against the Lems. We're even once more into a 3v3. Down to the last 30 seconds here, though, and an Evil Eye getting in the way of their breach of the wall. Foxy, though, is just going to take that damage in stride. Not worried too much about it. He's got a teammate to take out the Evil Eye if its glass shielding opens once more. And in the meantime, Renshiro seems preoccupied anyway with holding his position on the inside of the garage. 18 seconds left. Smoke gas grenades are just now starting to go off as well. There's one more remaining, but Vertical now going to be clipped off by Shaiko. He finds the second one on the Foxy as well, and Rafal shuts down the final one. BDS claims round number 14. We are 1-1, and it goes to the very final round of this map to decide who will take it.
Lems was such an amazing play inside of servers. That's what allowed BDS to win that round, all on that Nitro Cell. Reciprocity just slowed down at the wrong time. They had the info. They knew he was the only man in there. They knew that he was server stack. They had to get aggressive. It's Kaid. You know he's going to have a Nitro Cell. Either that or try and bait that utility. Instead, they get on drones in what seemed to be a very, very small angle at the bottom of blue, and they both get blown sky high. Now we're at max OT here, Blue. 7-7, somebody has to win, and somebody's got to go into the next map down. Reciprocity is going to be on defense, and we're headed upstairs.
Another interesting thing to note, if you missed our pregame segment, this is Reciprocity's map pick, so they are hopefully the team you would expect to see winning this one. But as Stokes had also mentioned in the pregame segment, these teams have very similar map pools, so picks may not necessarily dictate an outright advantage or even an uncomfortability for their opponents when you look at how similar they are.
How dare you? Look what you've done.
What's up?
It is medics.
Oh, I don't know. Production told us it was Marcio, so...
Yeah. It's Marcy. Everyone is baiting me on who's observing our game.
I don't know why you didn't listen to production.
I did listen.
They're in the room next to him.
Everyone's messing with me on who's observing.
I just call out Dez for that because Dez is throwing you off again.
Dez is baiting me. Everyone's baiting me.
Dez is trying to sabotage this cast.
This looks like my ranked games. It's getting baited everywhere. This is insane. All right, well, Reciprocity, once again, defending upstairs. So it's all going to be on Retro to try and stop all of this hard destruction. The issue is, though, Shaiko is playing Habana, and she actually counters out what Retro wants to do with those impact grenades, because you can set the X-Kairos pellets a whole heck of a lot lower than you can set the exothermic charge of Thermite. So it's much, much harder to impact trick. Renshiro going to immediately grab a hold of North Windows, and he's probably not going to let go of it anytime soon.
Waiting to see.
He's ready now.
If Rec are going to try the same thing that we saw Retro try just a few rounds ago that led to a massive game delay for BDS when it was pulled off successfully. So after none of that is thrown out at them, they'll feel a bit more secure to start popping open those wooden barricades and start to make some progress on peeking into these windows, and hopefully, if, well, positioning should allow, to get them an early kill, although that very rarely is going to happen until late round when BDS will use their utility to force the players out. Drone will bypass the sites and Janitor and give them good intel as to the current positions of the Rec anchors, so can now try to execute upon that, but Rec's game is being played much more spread out than just the site itself, so there's a lot more to try and figure out here before BDS will feel secure to begin their push. Vert, in the meantime, has the angle from ATMs, I believe, that he now runs back from to pick up the kill onto the player on Repel. That's Renshiro gone down. Foxy has been down on the inside of Janitor, but Shaiko is a little bit cautious to move in to complete the kill. He'll do that though over the next few seconds. There's not really a rotate angle where someone could save him, and Alems also finds another pickup here onto Retro as well. Shaiko looking for one more as he does catch a player in meeting, but is not able to complete the kill just yet. Spamming through though gets some pretty massive damage onto Nyx. He's now under 25 HP. The rest of the team has what they need to execute. Now it's time to pounce, and keep in mind, there's still over a minute remaining. BDS is incredibly early on this. Shaiko swinging to finally take out Nyx, but Vert is there for the trade as he finds RXWD, meaning Shaiko now needs to relocate his push over towards Stocks.
No one on Reciprocity in position to stop this plant either. BDS looking so good going into the post plant. Still have Shaiko up as well, so very impactful. He's got marks as well. Laxing dead. Oh, can he go for two? They know exactly where Vert is now, all the way upstairs in E3 near paper. He's made his way inside now, but he's got to worry about so many angles, and BDS takes bank away from Reciprocity. That is going to be their map pick. BDS looking so good inside of that OT.
Shaiko coming out huge there as well in the final round, picking up a massive triple. I'm not sure if he got the fourth one right there, but still, really big round from Shaiko specifically. Really big map from him as well. And that's kind of what you expect from BDS, to be fair. But man, it was a struggle for both of these teams to try and push towards the very end of it. Well fought indeed from both of them. And you could tell Rec is feeling that pressure now as they drop map number one and sit only one more map away from potentially being eliminated from their run here at SI. Let's take a look at some of the replays, starting off with round number one, where things didn't go the smoothest for Rec, mainly due to this great main stairs hold from RXWD.
Yeah, and then let me just fix that OT thing real quick. So it's actually who picks the map is the one who picks the side for OT.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leon Gids from Team Secret. Sorry you couldn't be here, but Alim's made it, so you're kind of here, but you're not.
In spirit.
Maybe you guys should have just, played better or something. I don't really know. I don't really know. I love you though, Leon. Thank you so much.
Continue to be a mixed affair on the basement attacks here, as we would eventually see towards the end of the half. Reciprocity is completely overwhelming the BDS roster with utility when they finally got onto the attack there. And away from that, Vert continuing to make plays too. A key player, but another key player was Rafal with this beautiful triple kill play that he managed to get for himself to stop this push from Reciprocity. Wasn't able to stop the plant in this circumstance, but he opened up the window for the rest of his team to easily pull off the retake in that round.
Overall, between these two, it was just a battle of pacing and who could throw the weirder thing at the opponent's offense to try and slow them down. And that's how we got all the way down to 7-7. Both of these teams are doing very unique setups that the other team was really not prepped in order to handle. So it actually shows you just how flexible you have to be inside of Rainbow Six Siege to make these rounds work in your favor when you're dealing with something that you're not really used to.
Yeah. Hope for Reciprocity, like we said, they now sit just one more map away from being knocked out of this tournament. It's going to be an incredibly close-fought affair still besides that. Much like every other team that was fighting yesterday for elimination, they will not give up until the final round is lost. Like you said, too, they cannot be the only North American team to not make it through, so they will fight to the bitter end. The problem is, though, Shaiko and a few of the other players seem a lot more confident playing against Reciprocity, though, where it seemed like almost the opposite happened. Reciprocity on the attack, a little bit timid at the start of it, with those first 2 rounds not going their way, but then slowly but surely opened themselves up a bit more and got more confident. But by the end of the game, it seems like the reverse happened again, with players like Shaiko really finally coming into their own and impacting in massive ways, like on that round there, where Shaiko was able to open up the entry for his team, only to be later shut down by Vert, and in the very final rounds in OT where he went massive.
Yeah, between these two, especially rolling around into our next map, I don't think that the pacing is going to slow down at all. There was some amazing plays from every single side. We saw Laxing being very impactful, whereas at the very beginning of this tournament, he wasn't having the best of luck on those weird roams that they were able to pull off. But this time, he got so many kills, and really, that right there, that Nitro cell that you guys just saw from Alems is what sent Reciprocity into a spiral for that last round. BDS making a very quick work of their last offensive play, and that's why they're up 1 map.
There was a lot of talk about like Renshiro being like the second man, so to speak, on BDS to often fall behind Shaiko, but it seems like to a certain extent Alems has become that player instead and has been pulling off some really massive plays. Not even really dependent on Shaiko either, kind of pulling these plays from his own POV and in his own game there, like that double kill on the C4 that he got with the hold at server.
Yeah, the main thing for me rolling around into our next map is, can Renshiro and the rest of this BDS squad step up to where we don't have to go to this OT? I think this is a time for them to just turn up the heat as much as possible and just try and crush Reciprocity. Otherwise, if you play around too long with your food, something bad's going to happen. Reciprocity can definitely come back. It feels like whenever they even get an inkling of success inside of a round, all of a sudden they're just firing on all cylinders again.
We're going to be finding out in just a couple of seconds here, guys. All 10 players are in the server ready to go. I think we're just giving them a couple of moments to continue their breaks anyway, as they get a couple of minutes in between the maps to recenter themselves, take a breather, maybe have to go to the bathroom or something like that. And then once they're ready to rock and roll, we'll get them back into the server, ready to play once again. And in the case of Reciprocity, potential elimination stands in the future if they are not prepared to take on their opponent here in Clubhouse.
Well, Reciprocity played Clubhouse earlier, and we actually got to cast that against G2, where they 7-0'd G2 on Clubhouse. So
that's pretty definitive.
Thinking about that and how G2 kind of hurt BDS a lot yesterday. I don't even know what to say about the meme pics. I really don't. It was just crazy. I think
they were just trying to tilt them at that point.
Yeah, well, that's really
listen,
what it was.
If we can pick it to Chonka and make them lose, you know, if you know, Matt, I'm gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. I think it really was just, hey, we're gonna play to get inside of their heads, and it worked. So Reciprocity, though, very, very clean on their defensive half of Clubhouse. They're lined up on the offense right now, though, so we'll see if that's gonna go through. It seems like it will.
All right, guys, a few more seconds away from getting things started here. Rec, got to get that confidence back for themselves here. A lot of discussion from Foxay as they get themselves prepared to jump back into the map themselves. Nick's taking a look at the strat book there in the distance as well, just to see exactly the kind of plays that he's going to try to pull off. Once again, another player, Nyx, to talk about there. It's been doing very well, even though it's one of his first events on land anyway for this squad, jumping into the fray. I think he's been doing a pretty good job. It's like I said, it's been the 2 newcomers that have been the shining stars, at least in terms of individual fragging power. Laxing in this series as well has been looking really good with those elevator plays he was allowed to get away with.
All right, well, as we're warming up the server, got to make sure to push start that. That way we don't have any issues. BDS and Team Reciprocity, my friend. I've honestly been very surprised by how impactful Alems has been, especially inside of the games recently. He just got onto this roster, and he's already popping off. We're getting Clubhouse warmed up now, folks. Reciprocity, BDS. BDS up 1 map, and all they have to do is win Clubhouse to go to the main stage.
Same time, Reciprocity looked nearly unstoppable on this map when they played it back on day one, so we'll see if the same will hold true of them here. They also get the defensive start. Clubhouse continues to be a very defender-sided map, so that could give them a pretty massive lead if they're able to leverage that in the same way they did against G2.
All right, well, a Maverick ban coming out. That's a Clubhouse regular, followed by Capital again. Clubhouse regular thing. So Maverick taken away because of the CCTV wall. Capital kind of the same, but Capital is extremely impactful whenever he's played because his crossbow bolts do not have a counter because the counter is not in yet. Valkyrie for the first defensive ban on Clubhouse, which is one we don't see crazy often, but Valkyrie is just a very impactful operator overall. She's got cameras. You can put those up wherever you want to get some vision for your defense. Mira going to be our last ban.
We saw some pretty chaotic early play from Reciprocity when they were on defense, so that might just be BDS choosing to try and avoid that once and for all, as it's going to be pretty hard to try and get aggressive, especially outside without appropriately placed Valk cams on this map. It's a little bit rougher on that, and obviously defaults are not going to stay up for very long. Basement's going to be the first defensive site for Reciprocity, following on the same note from the opening map on Bank. Church and Arsenal's where they'll set up their defense. Goyo being brought in once again has been kind of what quite a few teams have chosen to do here for the basement site nowadays. Vigil we also picked up here for a potential roam game on Vertical, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do on this site. So pay attention to Vert, as he's going to be incredibly pivotal to the early round success here for Reciprocity.
Well, we're going to get rid of the Goyo shield, grab Mute. Mute Mozzie combo for the defense, and this is something that's probably been talked about a lot this tournament because it really hasn't changed for the last couple of months. Mozzie, once he got put in Burnt Horizon, seemed to be a match made in heaven for a particular operator.
Just in case you were curious.
Oh no, he came in here and waved at me like 6 times.
Bottom right of the screen right there.
Yeah, I know. I looked at it earlier, but then like everyone just made me second guess.
It's a big stage.
Everyone's just making me second guess myself. That's the issue. Like, it really is. But anyways, to finish the thought of the Mute Mozzie combo before you rudely interrupt me again, John.
Sorry. Just wanted to clarify that detail one more time. Anyway, go ahead.
They deny a lot of information because you can't drone. I hate you sometimes. Like, I really do. Anyways, Vertical is with that Vigil is also going to play into that as well. Since you don't have as many drones, that's going to make it all the more harder to find him. So kind of an extended hold here for Reciprocity from the basement with some castle barricades, and Vert currently sitting on the main stairs.
And Shiro going to work his way up to the roof just to pop open some of these side windows. He's going to work himself in towards Master. It looks like, just to check that out real quick, Jim is next. Nothing really to be seen for him, although there is a player from Rec in the vicinity, just not somewhere where he would be able to see it. I believe that player is Foxe, hanging out at top steps right now. Could very easily rotate somewhere towards Logi, and as you can see, trying to actually drone out these areas upstairs is proving to be a bit difficult because of that oh-so-powerful Mute Mozzie combo that Stokes is doing. You've got 2 different operators with 7 pieces of utility between them that can completely deny, for the most part, access to areas of the map for drones.
BDS actually handling this in stride as they've already cut up the map pretty well, turning into billiards as well as having the connector from bar to lounge held down. You still have to worry about somebody over inside of Strip though, currently in the Strip hallway, as Team Reciprocity is looking to get aggro on any front. This is more than likely going to waste a lot of time, but it could get a lot of people killed in the process.
RXWD now having forced back the position from Foxe and a few of the other players here. RXWD is going to pop open some of that soft destruction. In the meantime, they won't shoot out this drone just yet, even though I believe Foxe is roaming nearby. Yep, still holding on the inside of Kitchen. He's going to give out that soft ping for himself. Now Nyx is going to be able to move forward on a completely separate part of the map over here towards blue and find Shaiko, who tries to get aggressive. Alems nearly had an angle to actually catch one of the players retreating. Nyx, the same man, in fact, that got the kill, but just missed the opportunity. Only had it for a split second anyway.
Well, they also have to worry about Foxe, who's inside of Kitchen. He made some footholes on the main door so no one can try and rotate in safely, as one of his team members is playing that from below. The main issue is now, though, is that he's stopping a lot of this offense from having any action. He looks the wrong way, though. Foxe actually rotates outside and gets inside a stock. He hopped the Kitchen window and ran across on timer. Laxin's on a double. Vert makes it even harder. It's down to the last remaining member of BDS. It's Rafal, the Thermite.
Active defense just so annoying right now for BDS to deal with, and this is not easy to pull off either. Preps props to Reciprocity, excuse me, almost a tongue twister there, as Retro Pokeball is the last man standing and wins them the opening round.
Reciprocity is nasty on Clubhouse. I mean, I thought that honestly the 7-0, like G2 just really wasn't ready for the setups that they were going to be throwing, but this is after VOD. This is after VOD. This is after everything that you've worked on already is public. They can go back, they can watch the match, they can break it down, and you already know this is map pick for BDS. You can see it in your top left-hand corner. They researched that video. They're like, oh yeah, this is going to be fine. Don't worry about it. It's not working out the best right now. But again, very early on to be talking anything about fatal errors or anything like that. We'll see if BDS can do any better on this next round. But they're already going to be attacking the tertiary site. Be attacking Waits as well as Master Bedroom.
Setup going down. Taking a look at the overall operator lineup, things looking pretty similar in terms of what they want to use for delay tactics on the site. I think you have the Bandit moving in for Laxing now, which is a bit different than what we had before, as he had picked out the Mute, so they ditched the Mute and Mozzie combo, and away from that, bringing Vert back in on the Jaeger as well. So much more traditional site-focused play. Laxing, of course, and the Bandit going to be able to block access to Jacuzzi, and I'm sure a couple areas as well. He has pre-placed 2 of the batteries. I'm trying to see, they're not on the Jacuzzi wall, I don't believe. I think they're somewhere else. I'm trying to see where he put those. Probably over like cache or something. Yep, it is for the cache defense. So that's just going to be pre-placed there because I personally don't expect Laxing to be staying here for very long, and actually not going to use any of the batteries to deny Jacuzzi whatsoever. They're all being used to deny cache presence, including the outer wall.
Well, going to have plenty of hard destruction and the Thatcher, so this shouldn't be too hard for BDS to get through. We're starting things off on the eastern side. This is the usual way that things get handled. That and taking control of Jacuzzi. But Shaika's going to see a non-electrified piece of the wall, so he chooses to get that first, obviously. He's going to make one hole and then begins to rotate across the roof. BDS being a little bit more aware of their surroundings this time instead of just throwing it right into the building.
So drone work continues here for BDS. They are going to be able to open up control of Jacuzzi without any interruption. As we had mentioned before, the Bandit is playing on the inside of Cash, is not over here defending the Jacuzzi wall as you might normally expect. They do have the Goyo shields positioned nearby this breach to try and stop that instead and delay further. BDS seems to be a really singular focus right now, with RXWD finding that opening kill against Foxay. That's the Goyo himself going down, and the rest of the team making room for their push to the inside to start taking pretty swift control. They're doing this very early this time as well, so as not to get forced into an awkward situation like last round.
These Goyo shields can be so annoying. They deny 10 seconds whenever they're placed on a door or anything and get exploded. It lasts the exact same amount of time as Smoke's Toxic Babes, as you'll see Retro pop one on the wall right now. Rest of the X-Cairo set goes down on the bathroom wall, so Retro will vacate the area because he doesn't want to die just yet. Still has utility to be used as stun grenades pour in. Plenty of time for BDS as well, but they need someone to be on this south balcony to try and make Team Reciprocity move just a little bit more, and that's going to be the call. They're shifting RXWD.
1 minute remaining here now as BDS gets prepared to once again move forward into the bathroom and take control. Shaiko's got a perfect lineup on Retro. He'll take a slight amount of team damage, but it's not even going to matter. It's a clinical execution right now from BDS. Laxing, the only one left standing. He's going to try to utilize that MP9, leaps back in, but they read that play from far away. Shaiko gets the last kill, and BDS trades out round number 2 and ties us up at 1-1.
Amazing pressure by BDS there off of the Jacuzzi wall. Made that little line shift and then just sent it right in. Got that bathroom control very quickly as well. Retro was not ready for somebody to be standing in that door frame once he stood up. Apparently the slits in the shield not helping him out too much on that. So they're going right back to gym bedroom. Feel like they can possibly fix something here. Relatively speaking, same lineup from the defense.
Picks are in. We'll see if there's going to be any 6 pick from either team right now. We are going to see an Echo get brought in. That's something we didn't touch on, was the fact that Echo was left unbanned out of this one because of the choice to ban Valkyrie as that first ban, where normally you would see one of the 2 distraction ops left out of the play. So not only do you have the Maestro, which we kind of expect to be left in 9 times out of 10, but you also have the Echo, which can be very, very annoying and can be used as a great delay tactic. They're going to try and double down on this gym site as well for Reciprocity, which is not something you always see teams do. They could shift over to Cash and try and attempt that, which is by far the preferred site, but not in Reciprocity's case. They think they've got something prepared for gym, specifically with the use of this Echo. And we'll have to see if that's going to be the case. Laxing still bringing a Bandit to the table as well. And I believe that the play is going to shift. We already seen a new battery position for himself as he bandits off that side balcony entrance on the inside of construction, and does appear as though he's going to be doing active denial on the jacuzzi balcony.
Well, he can do that, but that's definitely going to be a difficult thing. They do not have castle, so with no castle there, the reason that that gets difficult is because you can just go right to the weights window, pop that, and then kill the guy on the wall.
Nice.
There's nothing to stop you from doing it.
So we'll see, because this could be a risky play. He might just set him and forget him as well.
I would set them and forget them. I'm telling you that right now. There's no way I am playing that wall. But that's going to be the only line shift from Reciprocity. They drop the Maestro, they pick up the Echo. Blues already ran through that spiel, though. So let's get into the nitty-gritty now. BDS handling things the same way, actually. Shaiko making that prone hole again inside of server. Make it a little bit easier for them if they want to try and rotate back and do things from another way. Gonna get the jacuzzi wall now. This is the most important piece to the puzzle. That way you can cut off anyone that wants to get across the door from logistics, but they more than likely have a rotate set up inside of Secret. Slow going for BDS right now, but we saw how quickly things ramped up the last time. They're just waiting to see what they can do with this information and where they want to move their current players.
Not active denial on the outer wall, but he is going to play the inner bathroom wall and try and trick that, should his position allow him to do it, seeing as there's not going to be a lot of pressure, at least not at this point, coming from BDS on the inside of construction. The Roamers have that job covered. The nade going to be going in there to try and stop the trick from happening.
No.
Oh, I think he canceled it on accident there from RXWD. Now it's going to get chucked in. That might actually take him out, but the trick goes down successfully regardless, and that nade doesn't blow up. It's caught by the ADS in the back of the shower.
Amazing ADS there. Was very scared and wondering why Laxing was playing there, but Renshiro gets downed outside. He's guaranteed to be down to 20 HP. Somebody can try and get the kill, but nobody's obviously going to peek into Alems and the rest of the squad on the balcony. This time around, BDS has been stumped. Time to try and shift things around. You still have plenty of time if you want to go through a different means. It's infectious. It's infectious, I swear. Remember, they have that hole over on the server wall that they can get into. Foxay gets his first kill, though, of this round. Shaiko's the first one to die. It was one of the main entries the last time after he used all that utility up. Getting rid of one of the Goyo shields, but Nick with a very quick shot takes down RXWD on the balcony.
Echo's still a factor in this one as Nyx does find that kill. Oh no, it signs a second kill now as he's able to read into Alem's hop out at the window, taking him away from this play. It's just Rafal and Renshiro left in the fight now. A 2v5 situation with only 20 seconds left. This just really does not look possible for BDS. We'll see what they're going to try to piece together for it. Moving in, taking out the final Goyo shield that's active at this point here for the team. Rafal trying to leverage himself a kill. Renshiro instead gets the first one onto a player on site, and they will force the issue on the gym plant. Renshiro having to defend it with just a tiny amount of HP. He does successfully catch the Goyo, or excuse me, not the Goyo, does successfully catch out the Yokai, which is going to stop the interruption on the plant. But unfortunately, Renshiro loses his teammate. And well, yes, he does get the diffuser on the ground. He's now going to have to try and do the impossible here and 1v3 against the retake.
All right, well, Fox and Lax have the diffuser in hand. I'm pretty sure they know where Renshiro is as well. He's still playing on the jacuzzi wall. Laxing's holding his cross. He hears the first beep. Laxing melts him. That's going to be a double and another round for Reciprocity as they take the lead once again.
Reciprocity, like I said, doubling down on the gym site, which is something you don't always see, but in this case, it works out well. A simple adjustment with the Yokai drones and the Echo play, honestly not even really being needed at the end of the round, and if it was countered out successfully by their opponents anyway. It really was just the simple matter of switching up the play from Laxing and having him play active defense over on the site side and being able to trick out, and most importantly, having support from the Jaeger to deal with any grenade play there successfully. Be able to trick out on Bandit against that bathroom wall push, which limited the potential push angles for BDS far too much since they didn't have any control towards Cash still. And as of that, well, it's a pretty easy shutdown at that point for Reciprocity.
Well, Vert flashes the castle, going to make them think that they're going to go for the roam strat once again. That SSG was very prominently made, but As you guys can tell from the rest of the lineup, that's definitely not the case. We got Goyo, we have Echo, Smoke, and Jaeger to round out the rest of the roster. So you're more than likely going to see a turtle setup here. Watch where Foxy puts these shields. Wherever those Vulcan shields set, that's where a lot of people are going to be playing. We've seen a very unique setup with these previously inside of Blue, where they had one on each side, one facing the staircase, one facing into Oil Pit. And they actually had 2 people play Blue, one behind the AC vent and one towards the south inside of Oil Pit. That was not Reciprocity. I believe that was Vitality, or excuse me, I believe that was Na'Vi earlier in the week. Excuse me there. Vitality's not even here.
No, they're not.
This is my brain today, man. It's just scattered brain.
It's all
Same
good.
colors. That's literally what it was. Everyone was like, ah, yellow. Vitality. No, Na'Vi.
Both B colors. Yellow and black.
Isn't ADHD so fun? Don't you love trying to think of things and it just is like, ah, yeah, no. You gotta love it, man. You got to love it. Well, reinforcements up, Reciprocity ready for the offense of BDS as they enter the field and immediately go to the roof. Looks like we're going for a full map clear here, folks. Drones into logistics. You can see more drones as they roly-poly-oly on around the top of the floor.
BDS going to be focusing on that for at least the next 30 seconds or so, as that was a problem against the first baseman attack that they tried to take from Reciprocity. So they didn't check appropriately enough for the potential roam presence that had been set up pretty actively from Rec, which again, is not something that you see too often of. It seems as though Rec is definitely going to try to throw a little bit of pressure at BDS once more, but it's much more traditional. Just that player pushing up main stairs. Vert trying to get a play started here. However, the soft destruction against the main stairs connector into 90 is going to be a little bit too dangerous for him to stick around as it normally is, so he will instead fall back, play closer to the site as one might expect.
BDS crossing their T's and dotting their I's. You saw how quick that drone work was early on. Now making angles for the main hallway downstairs. Already got rid of the default cam, so they're ready to go for some hard destruction. You're looking to Shaiko and Rafal to do such a thing. This might be a church wall take. That's what it's looking like right now as they continue to do some reconstructive surgery on the kitchen hallway. Shaiko shifting his sights on over to kitchen to try and get this hatch.
Still at a 5v5 situation though, no contest between either team. Shaiko is trying to spot out Foxy sitting at the other end of that soft destruct against the flooring. Now, Foxy takes out the drone, as far as I can tell, without being spotted there. They do have hard pings onto a player down on the inside of Arsenal though, so at the moment, Buck, being played by RXWD, is trying to hunt that down, but so far unsuccessful once again. Working on getting the hatches open, there's a frag grenade thrown out that actually almost does a massive amount of damage to RXWD. Thankfully, he gets away from it before that becomes an issue. Sheer and the rest of the team still looking for options to work their way in.
Stalled for time on this hard destruction. They do have Moto open, so if worse comes to worse, they can always just bail down that. They do have a lot of camera placements though inside of site. You saw all those hard pings earlier on, but they know someone's inside of Blue. With that beautiful cam that's up to the left-hand side of the screen, he's going to start to get hot marked. That's Retro playing inside of there, but he's going to try and waste as much time as possible. Shaiko dies to an amazing nitro cell there from Verd as it sails across the wall. But Retro, he's got nothing but the world to worry about. Plenty of time still on the clock for the offense to try and do something. They're going to drop down into kitchen and start trying to put this diffuser down. Retro gets a kill onto a Lems. Oh, almost gets traded though, is crossing through. Smoke grenades down, multiple kills, but it's BDS that's actually starting to come through things in stride. Almost a flank that comes through, but no, it's actually the Buck coming down the kitchen hatch. Renshiro has to stick the plant. He gets off to pad the stats, and Team Reciprocity takes round 4.
Nice little move there after the drop from Foxy right at the very end of the round. Was able to run past the player on BDS that's holding the top kitchen hatch, getting right below him and taking him out. So a nice little movement there to counter out what could have been a potentially dodgy situation if he was able to successfully maintain that position and stop any attempts to kill the planter.
Yeah, that was hectic from our perspective. I have to know what it was like in comms. I mean, it just seemed like a straight funnel down kitchen hatch and attempt to throw a diffuser down. That was really the only opportunity they had. They had Overwatch inside a kitchen with that prone angle into church, but they really didn't have too much coverage of AK. That's where the rotates come from Rec in order to shut down that plant and most of the initial attackers.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
So working our way into round number 5 now. Just 2 rounds left for Reciprocity's defensive side, and so far things have gone brilliantly for them. A 3-1 lead over BDS, now trying the third site that they actually haven't attempted just yet, which you may find surprising. They did 2 different gym defenses, 2 in a row, with the first one being lost. That's the only round that BDS has won on the attack so far. And besides that, this will be the very first time they've actually gone up to cash, as they just played 2 basement rounds that went into their favor. Time to see why they were delaying so long on working into this. A pretty normal loadout for it, as far as I can tell. The smoke on Retro to delay, Foxe going on to the Mozzie in order to do work in trying to restrict drone presence within the site. Vert to attempt to actively deny the wall. Nix with the Jaeger and potential body block as well to stop Vertical from being stunned in his attempt to trick out the wall breach. So everything looking pretty normal here right now for Reciprocity.
Yeah, as you said, pretty normal. This is a pretty default setup. Have the holes open inside of the wall in between the sites so they can prevent default plant where Vert's currently sitting. Playing inside of the catwalk of Garage with a rotate and a shield. ADS is set up, so what this means is BDS is probably going to handle this very, very quickly. Every single time that Reciprocity does a default setup, BDS is on site with still a minute to go, so you're more than likely going to see the same thing.
Well, Alem's completing his drone work here. We're going to see that for the most part, the blue and main door entry area is clear for the taking. Alem's is walking right in. He's being a little bit cautious of someone to rotate in from the bar stage or potentially front door entrance. There's not too much of a worry about that. They're all clear in that regard. Furthest roamer is well far away. As you can see that tiny blue silhouette in the distance. Everything else is set up much more normally.
What? Of all the operators, Laxine is all the way in Narnia with bullet holes in the wall of billiards.
Oh my god.
And he gets him! Laxine! Oh, you want to talk about rat. That is ridiculous.
I was wondering, like, why is he all the way over in Strip? Now I know. As he has...
I want you to imagine this. RXWD, when he dies, he has to stare at that man for like a solid 3 seconds and just think about where he is. He's like, I think he's in Strip, and now Laxine is staying over here, and he's jiggling a yokai out of the door to see if he can kill anybody on a run out. This is the most aggressive echo play I've seen in such a long time.
He even like took the drone to the door to see if he could potentially get a run out if someone was going in for revenge. That's insane. Laxing bringing out some new stuff here on the Echo, the aggro roaming Echo. Not something that you see very often. Not the first time we've seen it either, to be fair, but certainly the first time I've seen it in this style.
All's fair in love and war, and bullet holes definitely fit that description. It's a whole lot of war, though. It's really not a lot of love.
That's the kind of play that I describe to people when they ask me what Siege is about, right there. that's exactly what I tell people.
How does Siege play? Well,
like, yeah, there's a guy with a bullet hole like halfway across the map that kills you in 2 shots.
Never died to a guy that has punched a hole in a wall that you can't see.
So, with time getting very low, BDS have moved into construction. We saw Laxing rotate in. He's able to take out a couple of those X-Kyroses, but it's against the softball. It's not a big deal, but the spamming in, they don't even realize it. Very messy spray, but it gets the job done anyway. He just can't finish the player off. Nix, in the meanwhile, is picking up a double for himself over on the catwalk up inside of Garage. He's able to take out Rafal and one more. Just a few players left. One really left alive. Alem's against the world right now in a 4v2 situation. He's going to be wrought down, though, as finally that yokai drone comes into play, stunning him out, as Laxing also gets credit for the elimination of Shaiko.
For the people that are wondering how they didn't know that Laxing was beneath, the MP5SD has a suppressor. You're probably like, yeah, Stokes, I know that. What the hell does that mean?
The S stands for.
Yeah, I know what the S stands for. Okay.
Okay.
I just didn't know.
What's it for you?
I just didn't know how OT
home.
worked on the maps because I'm stupid sometimes. Okay.
Okay.
I know what this.
Sorry.
Anyways, when you have a suppressor on a Rainbow Six Siege, you don't have any bullet tracers. So all that was happening is bullets were just impacting the wall. They didn't see where it was coming from.
Very quiet.
Yep, and it's very quiet. Obviously, they just see a couple of them like go in like, oh, okay, I don't really know where this guy's at. And he happened to be in the hatch and got a free kill onto Shaiko. Even the most game-sensed man, like out of his mind, 300 IQ at all times, doesn't know where bullets are coming from when they're just taking a wall. So
Defenders, protect your
Siege has a lot of sound effects, basically.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get confused as a result of, especially mid-breach, as you just mentioned right there. We're using that on a soft breach as well. So
overall, Reciprocity doing a great job on their defensive set from Clubhouse. Again, we know it's Clubhouse. It tends to go back and forth now depending on the teams. It's mostly defender-sided, though. I know people aren't really liking when Clubhouse is said to be defender-sided now. It's offensive-sided, but it's honestly on pretty equal footing. It just depends on the two teams playing each other. With these two, it seems like it's going to trend more towards defense, especially with the very weird things that Reciprocity are setting up for BDS to try and figure out. I think that is the main way to beat BDS right now, is try and make them figure out things in mid-round adjustments rather than going, hey, it's default, you just attack it. It's kind of like Empire. They don't really change up too much on their offenses, so it punishes them sometimes.
You have to force them in order to make those adjustments when, well, really, they're not prepared to do that. As far as the lineup is concerned here for Reciprocity, as we move into the next round, once again, they've gone back to Jim for their final defensive round. We do still see the Echo remaining in play, although it's going to go onto Nyx's hands instead. Laxing has rotated off of it once more and is going to jump over onto the Cade. And as far as BDS is concerned, well, they are using the same exact operator lineup for the 6th time in a row.
Every round.
Every single round.
No adjustments.
Yep.
It is Clubhouse, mind you, so they are bringing the best they can possibly bring for Clubhouse. This is a great setup. There's really nothing to change. You want the double hard destructors, you want the Thatcher. The only things that you could possibly switch out are a Lems off Zofia and RXWD off Buck. But really the only one that you would want to change is the Zofia. That's the only one you'd want to play with, because having Buck in the lineup with those frag grenades and that skeleton key to make those vertical angles, you just don't want to get rid of it.
Well, BDS making swift progress, already managing to get open the jacuzzi door. The problem, though, would come in on Bathroom, but this time there's not going to be any real denial on it to begin with the exception of things that could come from a yokai drone if they want to try and stop potentially, like, you know, thermite plants or thermite charges from getting planted onto the ground, but I doubt that that is the overall arching plan for these guys. They're still going to have to get the bathroom area open for themselves, but like I said before, that should go off without too much of an issue this time due to the lack of a bandit on the defender side.
Same song, same dance, but possibly a different singer. We'll have to see. They're doing, as we just said, same thing. Gonna open up the top of the bathroom wall, try and get some grenades in here, or burn that ADS. That's what Limbs is doing now. Concussing to make it to where they can't bandit trick. More than likely followed up by grenades, but no. We do still have RXWD across, holding logistics rotate. Fox A gets our first kill onto a Limbs. That's gonna be the Zofia. He's been so very impactful through the series so far.
RXWD just holding the angle at Logi now, trying to see if he can catch anyone rotating back at him. Good smoke damage going on a Shaiko too, and oh no! RXWD dropping down, but checking the wrong angle. There's a really awkward delay on it too. Nyx finally swings out from the closet to pick up the kill. Shaiko moving in, spamming just a little bit too high. He's not able to catch what I believe is Nyx on those drones right now. Retro has gone down, but has not been finished off just yet. Unsure if he's in a revivable position or not. Looks like be the case sitting behind those shields. Now, definitely not going to be able to get him back up with the amount of pressure the BDS now have. Speaking of which, the rest of the team moving in through bathroom, looking to claim control. They still haven't forced anything outside of logistics. Retro gone down. That's the smoke eliminated. Vert ready to fire back, though. He gets two on the Jaeger from the inside of construction. And now Rafal is alone. He's pinched as well, and I'm not even sure if he knows it just yet. Oh, he's going to bait the plant first in order to get one. Will get stunned a second later. He's got players wrapped all around him as he goes for his second plant attempt on the inside of the gym. They'll just interrupt this one with the yokai drone, I believe, one more time. Bada bing, bada boom. That's the end of the round. Reciprocity take control yet again.
Having Retro being downed in the middle of the floor actually worked out for them. Instead of him just dying and having to do work off of cameras, his corpse just did it for them.
They were so like delayed on trying to kill him as well, like finally.
Well, they didn't know that he was down. That's the issue. And he's in the perfect area to not get picked up from a window or anything. So he's tucked in behind the shield, tried to use the slats inside of the shield to see if he could possibly get any vision in towards the bathroom. And it worked out for him. So, I mean, as you saw, immediately after he kills Retro, he goes to swing the door and Vert's already ready for him because he knows that BDS is going to try and collapse after they know the entire room's clear. Kills the guy that tries to hop in off of the balcony. Kills Shaiko right after because he knows the refrag's coming. That's just vertical for you, though. Very, very impressive player. But actually, leading the pack right now is Laxing. And Laxing's defensive side was so solid. He was doing so many insane things, like being all the way across inside of Strip, because efficiency-wise, it's not the best thing in order to drone out the entire map before you go for that attack up top. You want to establish yourself on whichever side you're going to attack. Just make sure you have your flank watches set up. But no one really has a flank watch set up when somebody's literally aligning the stars in order to kill you.
So prep phase coming to an end. BDS, their first defensive round will now begin. Gonna bring the pulse into the play here on Ranshiro. That'll once again make the intel game a lot easier in terms of determining where this hit is going to come from. Besides that, though, everything aligning pretty much with what you expect to see on a defensive hold right now. The Goyo on Rafal, along with the rest of the roster. And Reciprocity taking no time to delay here. They'll move right into Garage. Very rare that you're going to have that much resistance on Garage to begin with. And he'll meet up with his team's drone right at the front door to start taking blue control.
Reciprocity moving very quickly, only 30 seconds in. Nick's already inside of blue. Sees some barbed wire though, so probably not going to get too aggro. Reciprocity as a whole though, being set up to try and get some hard destruction down. Your hard destructors for the map for the time being are going to be Retro and Foxe. Fox has the Habana, Retro has the Thermite. Lax playing that Thatcher. We're used to seeing him play this. He's played this position on Rec for a very, very long time. But as you guys have seen, Laxing is a constant carousel of ops. You're probably not going to see him change up too much on this map, though. Those EMPs, so very important.
We're just doing a little bit of self-destruction work here, I imagine, over the next couple seconds to open up main stairs for the team to use. Laxing looks like he's working his way over to join him, and Fox may do the same in a second, right after they get the hatch open here. There is going to be an attempt to trick it, looks like, with the Kate sitting on the inside, but he knows he's been beaten. He knows that the Thermite is going to be there along, or excuse me, not the Thermite, the Thatcher is going to be there along with them. So, not much that he can do, unfortunately, in that situation to stop the hatch from being open.
Also, if you heard the exothermic charge go off, the kitchen hatch, I do believe, is open, if my ears would tell me. Nope. Which hatch did he open? He opened the one for blue, so they need to get us better headsets in here. That's what they need to do. I'm blaming them. It's not my fault.
Headsets like every professional sport uses.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
Look, I just need my right ear cup to go over my ear, man. Then I can have the full sound of everything.
He's in like
can tell you
global standard for broadcast headsets right now. We need better headset.
No, we could literally be the center of the map. I'll tell you which window they punch when they punch it. We don't even have to move. Trust me, I got this. But no, plenty of drones coming in for Reciprocity. Have the hatches open that they want. This is going to be a church wall take for Rec. Still have one of those exothermic charges on Retro, so they don't have to worry about the kitchen hatch. That's just going to be all in the back of their minds now. No bandit, and they've already gotten rid of one of Alems's electro claws. RXWD burns his nitro cell, but he'll get Foxe for his pleasure.
Once again, Pulse ready to make a name for himself here. Unfortunately, he's only going to be on Intel for the time being right now, though, as he's already used that nitro cell. Nyx will find the trade from their early lost teammate before, as now it's going to go down into a 4v4. 20 seconds remaining. Rex certainly bringing this down to the wire. Retro, in the meantime, dropping down into Moto to get the first kill, but then drops the diffuser a second later as Renshiro trades him out. Renshiro as well, a wild spray to try and catch the main stairs player, but instead gets the Moto. Now drops the one at main stairs as well, and finishes off the round. A great hold from BDS.
On pace for Reciprocity there, but it just seemed like they got so rigid near the end of that round. Nobody getting too aggressive, especially from what we saw early on. We saw them take map pressure pretty quickly, especially for blue, as we saw Nyx making sure no one could rotate upstairs to guarantee that they can get these hatches open safely. But now the defensive side for BDS starting off very strong as they head to CCTV.
Moving up to that site, we do see the bandit picked in here from RXWD, so we should expect a more traditional hold here for these guys. At the same time, operator lineup is going to remain pretty straightforward for what you would expect on the attack against this site. You've got the Zofia, Thatcher, and Thermite combo to pretty much almost always guaranteed get open the main balcony wall leading into the site.
Protect your bombs,
and then at that point taking control of either cache and or garage in order to get the remainder of the angles that Rec would need to successfully take control of either of the two sites.
Well, for CCTV, looks like it's going to be a pretty default setup here for BDS, just like Reciprocity ran. We're going to have a couple more shields, though. They don't have a Goyo in their lineup, so it's just going to be regular prevention. They are playing Alems with the mute, but that's going to be the only wall denial, strangely enough.
This site's just a little bit too small for Goyo, I think, is the problem. It can come back to bite you too easily.
It definitely can, that's the thing, yeah. There's some sites where it's like, Goyo works so great. And other sites where you're like, this site is so small, if they pop one of these, I feel like a chain of reaction.
You blow one up like a third of the site.
It's literally like a nuke for the site. That's literally what it is. It's just not good.
Like bedroom, you can see how much slightly bigger bedroom is. It's fine in there, but it's so much over.
Okay. So this is why they're going to bring the mute, but still, they're not going to be going for the active bandit trick on the eastern wall. So this is going to be immediate for Reciprocity. There's literally nothing that BDS can do to stop them unless somebody wildly runs outside and kills them. That's about it. There's always something.
We've seen that.
I was gonna say, like, let me back up the truck before Leon yells at me. There is a way to kill them, right? You just have to be outside to do it, and it's probably not gonna happen. It's like a 1% chance. Retro's now going for the wall, so they'll have control of CCTV for the time being, or at least vision inside. But this is an extended hold for BDS. The real question is, though, is everybody standing up here? Because this might be a full-on rush into the wall. Yes, it is a full-on rush into the wall. Nyx hops into Garage. Fox8 gets another. Fox8's inside, diffuser in hand. They're going for the plant. What an amazing play. All the toxic babes burn from RXWD. It's down into the 2 versus 5. Laxi makes it even more difficult. RXWD all by himself. SMG 11 in hand, jiggling back and forth, trying to deal with the angles from Garage, but Reciprocity with a flawless rush. You could just tell why everyone is standing there, and right when I saw Retro put the exothermic down, I was like, oh.
They're going to do it.
I know what's happening here.
You're going to rush CCTV.
Just rush B. That's all you got to do.
That was B, too. That's the one part.
No, I know. That was the perfect time for the meme. Just rush B. Just go.
You ever just rush? Well, apparently Rec does, and they do it in pro games, so it is a valid strat. That's all my gold MM teammates.
If that works, it's a strat. Tachanka, a strat. That's what I tell everybody when they're like, what's the best operator in this game and what's the worst? It's like, well, they all do different things, and every single gun, if you shoot someone in the head, they die.
It's Ashen Jaeger, though. What are you talking about?
Stop. Stop it. No, it's not.
Reattempt to the same site going to come in from BDS. Obviously, it's a rush, so they're going to get a little mad that worked and think that they can fend it off if it comes in again. Most notably, it probably won't work if Rec tries it again, because BDS will definitely be ready for it.
But are they expecting the rush B twice?
That's the mental game. You gotta play this, right?
Yeah,
like,
right? Yeah.
Is Rec that crazy?
Honestly?
Where it's like, listen.
You do it again.
You know it's crazy, but listen. Let's rush again.
I mean, they haven't changed lineups, but it's the same lineup. They could just do it.
They have no. I think they've got defenders have a Legion this time. That was the thing.
They had a Legion the last time.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I missed it. I guess.
I have eyes.
10 seconds left.
We'll see what that update.
Let it repopulate. Yeah, they had a Legion the last time.
Oh yeah.
Told you.
Sorry,
Renshiro played it.
That's my mistake.
Yeah. Ugh.
Sorry.
You should buy one of these tablets.
I do. I just don't have that piece of it open. I have my own notes.
Get your tablet game up, sir.
I gotta keep my memory good. Anyway, we have Reciprocity out onto the board once again. Like you said, same lineup from them here as they work into their third attacking round now. As far as the defenders are concerned, the only change for them, they did actually change one thing though. They did bring the Goyo into play on this one. We had talked about that a little bit at the beginning, about how that can be kind of dangerous because of how small, specifically CCTV is going to be, and how much it can isolate out any defenders that are actually in the site. And it makes sense, right? Because they had, I believe, the Bandit in that position in the last round. No, never mind, they didn't have the Bandit in there. So just swapping out the smoke for it instead in case they expect something fast to roll in, can still serve as delay in the event Reciprocity try to force it too quickly.
Well, you guys can see from the red silhouettes that BDS are definitely ready if that rush happens again, but it's still going to be the same setup, just with Goyo shields instead. And as Blue was talking about in the last round, the only thing about this setup is that this is a very small site with very, very few rotations in between. So if a shield gets popped, good luck trying to go stop a defuse.
Yeah, there's a couple still very good places for the shields to be placed down. Primarily, you're going to put them in cache, since especially in late round conditions, you're not going to see a team try to attack, or not see a team try to actively hold positions inside of cache for the most part anyway. Or excuse me, not going to try to hold positions on the inside of CCTV. They'll be in cache. Sorry about that.
Bunker setup.
Yeah, bunker setup.
Hold it from offsite.
And the same thing can be said as well for Catwalk as well. You can usually put 1 or 2 of the shields on Catwalk, and they'll go off without too much of a hitch.
Well, wall open, EMP's in, gonna burn the shield here at the back. Shaiko waiting for somebody to try and rush. They more than likely have some sort of vision in there. Probably Rafal's Yokai that's currently fixated on the wall. As you see it hit the ceiling right there. So now they have sight. They know that they can prevent plants. They're not in a bad position at all. No one's taken any damage on either side. They're just staring at each other for the time being.
A little bit of trepidation here from Reciprocity as they look for hopefully an opening kill that they can leverage into justification to push in. Also having to deal with an Echo this time too. That's taking a page, well, not anymore. As I was taking a page out of Reciprocity's book, Rafal has gone down though. So those Yokai drones are now no longer a factor and are basically just cameras at this point. 5v4 situation for Reciprocity. They're gonna have to force their way into the site soon now.
That was a huge kill. They have control of Garage now. This is what you need to get a default plant down. It's right here next to this bomb chassis that Laxing's currently standing at. Renshiro gets 2 though. It's Vert and Nyx. Who has a diffuser? That's a real question. Shaiko with a flick, he gets 1 as Fox8 bails in the window. Nitro cell from a limbs. It's going nowhere. Laxing's got to go nuclear here to clean things up. He almost gets the kill, but he's trailing. He's trailing too hard on that shield. Alems with the last kill, and BDS stays alive.
Great play off the Legion as well. The impact to the upper wall catches 2 players still on the catwalk and in Garage itself, stunting the overall effectiveness of the Reciprocity attack that they were trying to use Garage to take, well, site control from, and makes it overall fail. Laxing tries to rally it at the end of the round, but there's just not enough room for him to get it done at that point. 6-3 now is the scoreline, with BDS lurking their way back. Problem is, they still need 3 more rounds in a row now just to take us to OT.
Yeah, and that's a big issue. The good news is, though, is that Clubhouse has some very good sites. We're going downstairs once again, though. This site the last time not working out too well for Rec. Tried to go for a church wall take after taking a little bit of time to figure out what they wanted to do. Did it in actually pretty low amount of time. It was about 20 seconds left when they finally got the wall open. But they played a little bit too passively once that happened, and BDS was able to just chop them to bits. So we'll see if the same thing happens. Once again, no line shifts for Reciprocity. Quite a few for BDS, though, making sure to pick up that Bandit.
Still keeping the Echo in play as well. They've also realized, like, hey, we've got it, let's use it. Same thing that Reciprocity kind of figured out by the time they got to the 2nd or 3rd round of their own defensive half.
Sorry, guys, pictures. Sometimes we gotta stop, you know? Sometimes we gotta stop talking.
You don't tell them that.
Shh, they don't know.
Just make
breaking the 4th wall.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, I
before
guess.
I'm
insertion.
Deadpooling it. Production's in here, we can't talk. I'm just kidding.
They all hate us in production.
Yeah, they probably do. I'll get a talking to after, it's fine.
6-3 once again. Reciprocity still the penultimate point right now in order to shut down this map, tying us up at 1-1 and sending us onward onto Border to decide the series. For BDS, though, they want to end it here and now.
Yeah, keep it light, keep it fun. Reciprocity's been actually pretty light on their feet throughout this entire map so far. Bank looked to be theirs, but BDS brought it back. They have to do it once again, trailing by 3. Plenty of drone work here for Reciprocity, and Laxing thoroughly checking Strip Club for some reason. I would never guess why. I don't. Maybe he likes the music. It's a pretty good soundtrack.
I'm gonna get paranoid now when I'm trying to figure out that play after he pulled it off.
I am the Rat King. You cannot out-rat me.
That was like literally just 2 of the tiniest bullet holes from they were like 200 feet away from each other.
It was literally like, that was like 50 yards. That was like a 50-yard shot all the way from Strip Club. That's incredible.
Crazy stuff. There's a yokai drone, I think, somewhere nearby. I could hear the whirring in the background. It's not going to be able to stop anything that's going on right now, though, as Foxe opens up one of the 2 hatches. The first one goes down in bar. He's going to rotate over to focus up with kitchen hatch now, as Retro should be able to get blue hatch open. Usually there's not any active resistance on that. Not that there could be at this point from BDS, since they don't have the Cade anyway.
Well, Rec saw that there was no one upstairs, so now they're starting to move a lot faster. Last exothermic charge for Retro gets put on Mud. That's more than likely just a secondary front for the attack. In the sense of people in there late. This means this is probably going to be a pinch onto Armory, as Retro obviously doesn't have any more of those, so cannot get the church wall. They do have some yokai set up, though, so they should have some good info on this from the defensive side.
Nick's working his way forward, trying to find the entry to go down into Moto, double flashing it to start things off. There is a player right around the corner, but thankfully guarded behind a wall, so not an immediate concern at this point for Nyx and the rest of Reciprocity. They'll open up the softball leading to the inside of Arsenal. Bandit charges are going to go down onto the church wall to prevent access to it. Both of the thermite charges have been used, though, so that's not a massive concern for BDS. Retro, his hard breach gone. Foxe only having 1 potential X-Kairos charge in order to get them in, but I don't think that's going to be a priority. Laxing wrapping around the corner, catches RXWD when he's still on yokai drones. That's absolutely free to Reciprocity.
That's such a big pick as well. Those yokai drones are going to be disabled. Can't use them anymore. We get yet another one and a 3rd, but it's going to be Vert to take down Shaiko. Laxing gets the double. Vert makes it even harder. He's a double on the round as well. Rishiro's all by himself. He rotates into Moto, takes down 1. 1 versus 3. He gets the man with the diffuser as well. There's only 6 seconds. He's rotated to the bottom of the main stairs. He knows that somebody has to plant, but he can also prevent it from hatch if they have it open. Dances back and forth. He knows the plant's being stuck now. Do they hear him sprinting above, though? That's the main important factor. He goes for the shot to the floor! And Renshiro with the 200 IQ play and some amazing camera work from the defense.
Renshiro literally having to dodge bullets at the very end of his well to line up his own position in order to kill that planter. and make sure that we did not see the counter defuse come in from their opponents. Beautiful work from BDS, keeping them in the game once again.
That was so
Continuing
smart.
this play. Oh, man.
That was so smart.
So smart, but so close. You could tell that Reciprocity had the read onto it. They knew exactly how to counter it, but just failed in the fine details at the end of the day, which is going to be so unfortunate if that continues to be the story for Reciprocity. It's exactly how they lost that opening match versus G2. They can't allow these simple mistakes to happen again. Got to clean it up.
Honestly, I think that last round was where you call a timeout. That's where you need that timeout. They've went through their full site rotation. No timeout from Hopes here is a very big problem because if you go to the next round, if they win this, they only need one round to push it to OT. So right here is somewhere that timeout should have came through, but also it could just be the lineup of Reciprocity saying we don't need it right now. We don't need no timeouts. We don't need no timeouts. We can fix this ourselves. We know what the issue is. But again, it's just the very little things. That's the thing about Siege. That's why what keeps everybody coming back. It's always the little things that get you in trouble. You can have 3 kills inside of a round. You can have 2 people with double kills, and the last guy can still thwart everything. It's always the little things in Siege that mess you up.
I think with regards to the pause, if they are going to take one, they might be saving all the details for trying to go up against the cash defense. I think that might be what they're trying to save the pause for, is just to fully focus on that, since that's obviously where BDS would have to go after this.
That's very true, but this site right here is the easiest to attack of all of them.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Arguably, of course.
I would agree.
Like CCTV is the regular one that everyone's used to attacking.
Keep in mind, that wouldn't really hold true. I was going to say Reciprocity chose to go to Gym, but that would make their preferred attack site probably Gym as well. So maybe they prefer to attack Cash.
None of these sites are exactly bad. They all have their own flaws, but Gym Bedroom has the most flaws.
And the most
in my eyes. Again, that's an opinion piece. Don't set me on fire. So
we are casters after all.
That seems to be a regular thing. I don't like your opinion. How dare you? How dare you talk? Anyways, some good drone work now. Actually going to find out where the echo is of RXWD, and he has been having a very, very sore time on this defense. It just doesn't seem like he's able to stay alive when he's really needed, and BDS has been having to fight without yokai drones, which is a very difficult thing. Yokai is such a pivotal operator. He can literally win around all by himself with those yokai drones. But since he's been dying so early on and been first pick quite often, what in God's name is happening? Retro's in, Rafal rotates, he almost gets a diffuser down. It was a rush play from Reciprocity. Vert gets one for Team Reciprocity's troubles, but BDS is definitely coming out on the top of the heap. They gotten 3. Nyx, Retro, Vert all down, Laxing to follow suit, and it's gonna be BDS Esports cleaning up shop. Round 11 goes to them, and it's 6-5.
The rushed attempt there from Reciprocity. Unfortunately, the echo being set up in the either ignorance or lack of knowledge on it comes back to bite Reciprocity in a big way. Interrupts their plant, and then BDS pounce at that point to shut it down.
Talk about timing. I'm talking about how impactful yokai drones are, and it's literally the only thing that stopped them from getting a diffuser down.
Now you're going to get set on fire.
Impeccable.
He said he was bad, and then he stopped the plant.
I said he needed to stay alive, and he did. Yeah. And he was effective, because yokai drones are nuts.
The plant.
He stopped the plant.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So, it's going to actually change rules again, though, as RXWD is going to give up the echo for the following round, and that'll go over to Rafal instead. But, like we were predicting before, Rec is going to call the timeout now to purely focus on the CCTV attack.
You're so good.
And, I mean, you can see why they didn't take the pause now, right? Because they were going to do that. So they seemed, that was probably a decision that was made like right at the end of the last round. Like, guys, no, we're going to do this.
We're just going to rush and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then if we, get into some hotter water, then we'll take the tactical.
Then we'll take the timeout. Then we'll have a deeper discussion about how to handle the CCTV attack. So that's almost certainly, well, it's obviously certainly what the discussion's about right now. So that's the only site that BDS can play into.
So the shift is vertical going to IQ. They're going to try and do that to deal with the echo. They also have Legion, so help out with those. Also with CCTV, all of the flooring inside of each one of the sites is soft, so you can shoot through it and get rid of a lot of utility. The only areas up there that are obviously hard would be the construction area, as well as, and Nyx is going to 6-pick over to the buck, but as well as the red stairwell. All of that is concrete, so you can't shoot through it. So those are going to be the only 2 areas where soft destruction do not exist, and you can't fire bullets. Nyx with that skeleton key on Buck as well. Could be using this for the frag grenades, or he could be using this to get rid of the man behind a green box, which is that area next to the A bomb.
Not only that, but since they hid the Buck Normally, BDS hasn't had a massive amount of downstairs presence. It has come in from Red and Shiro on the most recent attempt, but if my memory serves me correctly, we didn't actually see him rotate over to that part of the map until very late into the round when he tried to go and get that double kill from the outside of Garage.
All right, I'm going to stop you for 2 seconds here. You see this drone from Laxing, everyone? What this means is that bottom clear is going to happen. Laxing has this to make sure no one's playing bottom garage, so it's either they're going to attack garage heavily, because right now it looks like they want to play lounge. You see the reinforced door. You also see Renshiro's all the way downstairs, so this might be a late rotate to try and stop them from doing what they're doing, which is trying to take that downstairs area. But that drone from Laxing is definitely telling the tale of what areas they want to take control of. They need that vision inside of garage, but it's the real question on if they're actually going to go for this. They didn't have too much down there initially, and it doesn't look like they're going to be doing it too quickly. Nick's currently sitting outside of stock, so it could be for that green box like we were talking about before.
Reciprocity getting ready to try and get themselves in position to open up. They did actually use one of their EMP grenades right at the start of this, so I'm not sure if that was either miscalled or whatnot. But either way, the opening is going to happen without a second one needing to be used. That's the wall open. Retro quickly takes up position to make sure nobody is going to try to go crazy and run out on these players. In the meanwhile, Vert trying to see if there's any gadgets to take out from the inside of Garage. Won't be able to eliminate that ADS that you've got vision onto just because there's metal in the way, and you can't really shoot through metal these days.
Well, sees a Yokai camera, knows what that is, gets to call that to the team for free. Has some Skyros on the opposite wall, but I'm going to assume that they're mute jammed for the time being. Plenty of mute jammers around here by BDS. Very nice setup. Have them set up by the drone holes and everything, preventing a lot of intel here from Reciprocity. It's going to be a tough cookie to crack.
Down to about half the round remaining. Reciprocity is going to start to move in for that first floor clear. They will eventually still have to catch Renshiro, who is in the basement right now. Nades going on to Rafal. He's able to move away from it, but only slightly, so he still takes half HP and eventually gets fished out of position by Retro, who takes him down. Renshiro trying to catch players as they move up the stairs. He'll be very patient to maintain this spot in oil well, but no, droned out. He's got a ditch.
Very heads-up play there from Reciprocity to know that someone's more than likely there. They hadn't seen Renshiro the entire round, so recognizing that there is a roamer, it definitely could be a thorn in their side if not dealt with. So intelligence working out for Reciprocity. They now have garage control, but this is the issue. They had this the last time, and right when they went for the diffuser, everything went to hell. BDS started throwing nitro cells, everything except the kitchen sink at them, and got so many kills in such a short amount of time. But Retro's actually shifted where he's planting. He's planting right next to the door. He's going to stick it as well, but the diffuser's not going to go down. Shaiko stops, and Foxay starts us off. He's worked his way in once again. It's a flank from construction. Renshiro, though, can't stop them, and Reciprocity wins round 12 and wins BDS's map pick. We're trading back and forth.
Seems like that pause came in at just the right time for Reciprocity. Gave them the winning strat that they needed in order to take control at the very end of regulation. As Stokes just said, 7-5 is the final score for map number 2. And now we must go to Border to decide the true winner of this series and who gets to move on into the quarterfinals and who, unfortunately, is going to fall just short of that playoff contention.
I'm getting flashbacks now from the G2 series. Last time we went to Border, they ended up losing. And it was honestly off of just some bad comps, to be completely honest with you. We talked to Reciprocity after, and there was just a couple of instances that didn't go their way, a couple of diffusals that should have happened that didn't, just a lot of things not happening for them. But today it seems like they're playing just a lot better as a team. When they first got here, you could definitely tell that there was still some growing pains going on, but across this land, it feels like they've just gotten better and better every single time we've seen them. Make sure you guys are watching this highlight reel, though. Laxing and the rest of the Reciprocity squad were actually super impactful early on before BDS started taking control of this entire situation, but it really was the Lax show at the end of the day. He was having so many impactful rounds, and he got 13 kills on top of that.
Specifically from the Echo's perspective, we had that one crazy bullet hole lineup all the way from strip into stocks as well. That was some insane stuff from him, and that was just one single round of play. Laxing certainly waking up and making up for some potential lapses over the past 2 days. But at the same time, BDS still in this fight. Renshiro having himself that beautiful play. Shaiko still having his moments. This was a very closely fought affair that ultimately could have potentially been ended much quicker by Reciprocity, so you cannot discount the tenacity that BDS has continued to show here. They have a capability to get back into these games at any given time. We're only one round away from taking that map to OT for a second time now, so Reciprocity must be very, very careful moving on to Border, as that was their probably closest map they had against G2.
Well, here's the issue though. 6 bans on Border for BDS, and they're 7-1-1. Regularly banning Thermite, which is something that we also saw in the G2 series. So, honestly, it really feels like this is just G2 versus Rec all over again on Border. I think that BDS still is in the driver's seat. That last game was very close as well. This is going to be extremely hard fought for Reciprocity, but again, it's not fun unless it goes all the way.
Of course it isn't. So, for those of you guys at home, make sure you are letting us know on social media what you think of this matchup. It's been an incredible tournament so far. This game has been absolutely incredible, and we are just really getting started with today's matchups. 2 more still to come after this as well, so make sure you're sticking with us all day. And again, this is only the first stage of SI for 2020. We've got that new extended format, so we're going to move into the playoff stage following this one, where we'll start our double elimination bracket to see who moves forward onto the main stage next Friday.
Yeah, and just to remind you guys of how that's working, after today we will have a day off tomorrow, then we get right back into the group stage finals. So whoever loses those matches on that end up having to play against the people that have made it into the lower bracket, and we'll have the rest of the teams going to the main stage. So those lower bracket runs will continue on Tuesday and Wednesday.
A lot of discussion going on for Rec as we take a look at some of the player cams. Very focused on the game coming up here right now. Just trying to relax a little bit here before things get started. Foxay, of course, giving out the majority of the discussion, as you might expect. Meanwhile, on BDS's side, already taking a look at them.
Both of these teams look beaten right now, honestly.
It's been a grueling series.
It really has, and it always is when they take your map pick. Because, for instance, when BDS wins that, they go, guys, we go to Clubhouse. We already got the VOD on them. Don't worry about it. This is cinched up, baby. This is a 2-0. And then you lose. And now you have to go to the last map that you never planned on being on in the first place because you knew you had a better bank, but you really didn't.
27 rounds of Siege already having been played in these 2 maps, and more than likely at least 10 to 12 more coming in the next map, if not more than that, should we end up in another OT situation for a potential top of 15. That is a lot of play for these teams to go through in one day, and it's going to drain on them now. Could become very much a battle of longevity as we move into the 3rd map, a war of attrition, if you will, to see who can outlast their opponent.
And it comes into stamina. I want you guys to imagine this. This is always my argument whenever they talk about esports athletes. Why is this a sport? Blah, 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 blah. Have you ever sat down and literally had to put your brain into overdrive for 3 hours while you have everybody else on the other team trying to do everything in their power to kill you, get onto site, do whatever? This is just amazing. I love it. And that's really is what the thing that makes esports a beautiful tool is it's such a brain tease, man. There's so much you have to think about at one time. It's ridiculous.
So with our teams nearing ready, we do have them all loaded into the server, and I believe that their break time is soon to be expiring here, so they'll have to sit down, get ready to jump back in relatively soon. We've got our observation team ready to go as well. It all comes down to the very same map. Reciprocity made some very critical mistakes on day number 1 and ultimately lost what could have been, in a different timeline, a 1 series against G2. Now they have to face that fear once again. This time, obviously, a different team at the other end of the room, but the stakes are much higher than before.
And that's what makes this such a good storyline. They're going right back to where everything went wrong for them against G2, where they felt like they could have beaten G2 and made it out of groups. But that's not what happened.
At the same time, once again, a tale of a new rising stars when it comes to BDS players that have been around for a long time. Shaiko, obviously being the most controversial among them, but looking to reclaim his lost namesake here as he moves forward from the group stage. And looking to try and push as far as possible into SI, make something new for this squad.
I am so ready to get into this game. Between these two, there's not a crazy amount of border, as we told you. It's actually banned out quite often. And actually, for our friends over on BDS, it is tied for second for their most played map. Their most played map is Clubhouse. And they actually had a pretty good record going into that. On that, they're 9-1-4, leading up to SI. So overall, though, I would say that this is going to be a pretty equal matchup. Border is a map that lends itself to very fast-paced teams. It's small, it's aggressive, it's always CQC, so you really got to wonder what we're going to see inside of this map.
Wonder no longer, as we are going into our third and final map, ladies and gentlemen. It's Border, and it will decide who goes on to the quarterfinals and who goes home at the very end of the group stage. Reciprocity against BDS. Let's find out who moves on.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Again,
and it's only group stage.
Yeah, my main
Wait
focus,
till we're on the big stage.
My main focus is to just break the fourth wall with you as much as possible. Like, super hype. Good job, man.
Nomad's going to be the first ban knocked out here, as we would generally expect. The map is a giant square, and if you block off 1 point on a square, you can see pretty quickly how roamers would have a bad time. So
she's a rectangle, okay?
Okay, yeah. So,
be nice.
Obviously, defenders, or attackers, I should say, don't want to have to deal with it.
No, they don't.
Defenders.
Yeah, exactly. And with that Nomad ban, it's just all for those rotations. Capital going to get banned out because he's so effective, especially on this map where you have to anchor a lot on site to prevent anything going on in the offense. There isn't a crazy amount of roaming, but as I say that, I'm sure Reciprocity will be doing a lot of roaming because they're Reciprocity. That's how they play Border. They play it super aggro on the basement floor when they're upstairs and vice versa when they're down. So Valkyrie going to be removed. Again, the camera's just so very impactful. Mira, pretty self-explanatory.
First round getting started. Teams have been playing around a lot with the sights on this map throughout the past couple of days, and that does not exclude Reciprocity. I think when they played it against G2, they actually started out with a Vents defense, if I'm remembering it correctly. But this time they're going to follow the normal pathing and go right to Armory from the start of the game. Also a Clash being brought in, which I'm not exactly sure if we saw it, but hey, it's not going to become relevant as it'll be 6 picked out over towards a Bandit.
Yeah, we've actually seen Fox play a little bit of Clash during this tournament, but a lot of the times now it's just been the 6-pick piece for Reciprocity. Dropping that for the Bandit, and they want some wall denial. Thatcher is going to be in play, though, so probably not going to help out too much. No double hard breach, though, for BDS. They're only bringing the Habanas, so someone more than likely going to be headhunting Rafal. Other than that, it looks like an office hold for Reciprocity. The triple reinforcement on the office wall, as well as on Suicide. So it's going to be 4 reinforcements dedicated to the office side. Definitely going to be an extended hold here. I want to see where they're going to move these reinforcements from, though. This is always the interesting piece. We still have reinforcements inside of 90. We still have reinforcements. Oh, no, we're going to be making the rotate. Okay, so we're going to have the rotate over through Fountain. You see Vert making some bullet holes. They were going to keep an impact on them for good measure, probably inside of there. But no, we don't have any impacts on the field. So we're going to have to make that rotation from other means if they do want access to that 9D hallway.
Deploying drone.
BDS well on their way to clearing out first floor with their drone efforts here over the next couple of minutes, just trying to isolate any potential roam presence that may be called out here from Rec. It's been a big part of their game, especially in Laxing's respect, which, speaking of which, he is back on the Echo. So everybody get ready. So had some great play on it back on map number 2, which was played on Clubhouse. If you missed it, I'm sure there's a clip of it somewhere. Go find it. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I'm sure you'll find it. I'm sure you'll find it. No, Laxing has been truly incredible throughout this entire series so far, but he's going to have to do it once again for Reciprocity to make it further on through the Six Invitational and continue this lower bracket run. BDS, though, starting things off from the southeast. Early on upside down rappel, so your compass isn't going to work at the absolute greatest. Lem's going to be opening up. They're going for a CCTV take here. They already have the window open. They have the break room, or excuse me, the monitor's door open as well. So plenty of pressure, especially with that buck underneath. Jaeger gunfighting back. It's Nyx on a do-or-die mission right now. Continues to get hot-marked and eventually dies.
Great start from Renshiro here. Not the only presence they're going to have to deal with if they continue to push in towards the main doorway, however. So he's another player from Reciprocity holding back on the inside of Workshop. is also going to try to get in their way should Shaiko commit to that push. Alems, in the meanwhile, now that he's claimed the kill onto the player instead of CCTV, he can jump in without too much of an issue. There is, of course, that self-destruct lineup that's gone through CCTV and over onto the inside of the fountain area, but no one currently contesting it. So Alems just making sure in the event that someone from Reciprocity rotates that it won't become an issue. They do catch a rotate in the meanwhile happening closer downstairs as Foxy is droned out for a moment. So he'll have to be very careful the way he continues his play.
Well, with our recent ADS change, Shadra's actually going to shift up his weapons as well. Got the G36C and does quite a bit of damage to Fox, who immediately hits the deck. Plenty of shots here from the Echo, but Laxing wins it out. He's there to assist his teammate.
Look at how much damage he does to both of those players.
Yeah, and the issue is, though, if he has the R4C, he kills both of them. That's the difference, though. But the main reason why Shaiko's playing that gun is because it has the angled grip. He wants to be able to peek faster. Oh, Alems holding off Reciprocity as this diffuser gets set. Vertical gets a kill for his pleasure, though. BDS still have 3 alive. It's a 3 versus 3, but Laxian and Fox have been led after that experience with Shaiko. Alems gets a Claymore kill. Renshiro kills Fox. Alems with the last one, and BDS quickly take round 1.
So a little bit of trouble with Shaiko downstairs and trying to get control there, but ultimately the downstairs control that is maintained by Reciprocity doesn't end up translating to much at the end of the round, as the attack against the western wall and into the site is relatively cleanly fought by BDS, and they make it in without too much issue, get the plant down most importantly, and are going to be able to take control of that opening round on the attack. And lost armory round, definitely not the way that Reciprocity would want to start out this final map, but they will attempt it a second time, as this is by far the easiest site to defend, at least going off the consensus of most pro teams.
Okay, well, Armory Locker is going to get locked in once again. It's going to be relatively the same lineup. We're bringing Kaid. Nope, we're going to have a disconnection here. We're going to get that fixed for you guys very quickly. But BDS already have a great idea on how to handle border. Again, this is a map that's pretty meta'd, so just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. So they're going to try and get this fixed on the Reciprocity side while we discuss the map and such things. So for border, it being so small and really not having that much room for creativity, it tends to be pretty straightforward on the offensive side, especially for Armory Lockers. You're going to see the teams either try and take office or CCTV control. Regularly speaking, though, they want both. CCTV is so great for handling 90, making sure that no one can rotate from east or rotate up metal stairs if somebody is downstairs. You can make those lines of sight through the break room wall, as well as a box wall that sits in the corner of CCTV. So it's a great area to have control of early on. Then you're going to want to try and get that Armory Locker's wall open like we saw and get that plant going. BDS just a little bit faster, especially with Shaiko being downstairs, but that more than likely was just a distraction while they were trying to set up for that plant.
Pause timer is going to be expiring relatively soon. Well, actually, as soon as we get the issue fixed, I believe it'll be coming back on, and we'll have the teams jumping back in game very, very quickly here to start out our second round. And there we go. The Vertical has rejoined the game, so shouldn't be much more of a delay. Just got to make sure he's all set and that there's no issues with his client. Don't know why there would be at this point. So there we go. The unpause is coming. Let's head back in game, guys, and see what exactly we've got in front of us here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
All right, well, still going to have Shaiko on the Ash. Gets those 2 assists as well as he lit up both of his targets. Nothing too crazy coming out from the defense either. Laxing going to be moving things on over to the Legion. We didn't have that the last time. A little bit of a line shift. Laxing gets off of the Echo. That's going to be picked up by Nyx. Going to have the Kaid as well instead of the Bandit. It feels like that's going to work out just a little bit better for them. Only issue is, though, is that Renshiro is still Thatcher, so he can just double EMP to get rid of both of those Electro Claws. Reason for that, though, is that Rafal is playing Habana. They haven't brought Thermite, so they don't have to worry just yet until they see that in order to bring back the Bandit, because he is the only one that can try and deny that through the electrical way, obviously. He's much faster than the exothermic charge is, but Habana's a lot slower, which is why you want to take the Kaid instead.
Still setting up some of those yokai drones. In the meanwhile, Renshiro going to be the first to approach the southern balcony, start to posture up for a little bit of control in this direction. Not only is he going to be responsible for that, but probably a little bit towards the stairs too. Because spam in with a bit of pre-fire to open up the wall, leading closer into CCTV itself, and the Claymore goes down. takes up the default at the east stairs right after that. Just watching once again for any presence that might swing out wildly from Reciprocity. Farrah did get a whole lot of that on the first round, but doesn't mean we won't see that change in later rounds.
BDS starting off with CCTV once again. They already have the main door open so they can get rid of any electrical charges on the wall, but obviously again we don't have bandits, so they're going to be looking for one of those electro claws, probably set very high, so they're going to have to go directly under it. They drone out Laxing downstairs inside of custom, so he's going to have to move or risk his neck. He's going to shift things over into what seems to be Passport.
Shaiko once again at that front door, ready to move in, and at a moment's notice, Alem's part of the CCTV take, however, so will not be able to help out with picking up the floorboards underneath the armory wall, if that is the intended goal. But Shaiko should be able to do the goal just the same. He still has access to one more breaching charge, and that will actually move in much unscathed to start things out here. Shaiko's going to walk right to the inside of vents, get free control there. Rest of the team now working to once again reaffirm the control that they have on the inside of CCTV, but also push that forward into armory wall, which was left soft this time by Reciprocity.
Easy does it for BDS. Laxing's worked his way back into customs. Hops up on the table for a better angle. If anybody rotates back towards the broken wall, they'll get shot in their head. You have to be very careful about this. Olive Mini is soft as well. Stun grenades getting poured into Halfwall, but he's actually stunning his own teammates here. I don't know if he exactly realizes that. Toxic Babe's going off, but Renshio gets the first kill. That's on to Vert. That's the Jaeger. He dies as he peeks out from behind the wall near Sandwich inside of sight. Shaiko holding rotate downstairs. Oh no, this is looking like BDS all the way. Shaiko getting another kill, RXWD as well. All of a sudden it's down to 2. Foxy working his way into 90 to go for the flank inside of CCTV. Finds one on metal stairs as well. So down into the 2 versus 3. Foxy with yet another. That's a triple. Already down to the 2 versus 2. Still has Retro as well alive. Hasn't done too much though. Foxy goes for the run out to check the balcony. Heaves a nitro cell. Doesn't find him too much though, so they know that they're playing back now.
Got a wrong read on it right there, so the Nitro Cell is going to go to waste. Foxy taking a massive amount of damage as players are allowed to rotate all the way out into the 90 hall. Alems will take out Retro as well. He's going to try and push as Foxy attempts to claim the last kill on RXWD at the 90 angle, but RXWD will get the better of it. And they complete a second attack onto the upstairs site.
Foxy with a great play there, but it was just too little too late. A bit of overcompensation from Reciprocity while BDS was just waiting for them to peek into them. They tried to use the utility to stop the plant, but that didn't work out either, and Laxing was not too effective downstairs, didn't do a whole hell of a lot. Did get droned out and waste a little bit of time, but as you guys saw, BDS never tried to go for a roam clear downstairs. They just had Shaiko sit and wait for him to try and rotate to that main lobby area next to vents, and just killed him off. So a good take from BDS, and CCTV control definitely paying off, but Foxy almost had something to say about it. That was a crazy round.
Foxy certainly trying his best to reopen that retake possibility for his squad, and it nearly worked as well. Just a slight misread as far as the post-plant positions for BDS were concerned. Leads Foxy outside where he throws that nitro cell, which unfortunately doesn't lead to anything for his team. And just the amount of time spent trying to do that gave BDS a good 20 seconds or so to recommit their positions towards 90. And I think even wrapped to the inside of like Fountain or something like that, where they were able to get the second kill. So just a little bit too much comfortability, I think, given to them in the post plant. If they had tried to push CCTV directly or that hallway, maybe had a better chance of stopping it, but at the same time, can't really fault them too much for lacking the intel when it wouldn't have been really that easy to retrieve.
Well, so far for BDS, going very well on their offenses. These takes have been masterfully done. CCTV control every single time with really no road bumps. So Reciprocity needs to fix that if they want to try and get some rounds on the defensive side. They're already shifting away from Armory Lockers, headed downstairs, and BDS is going to make a line shift. We're going to get RXWD on over to the Gridlock, an amazing operator, 3 armor, 1 speed, with some awesome utility. She's got track stingers. They set out quite a few panels that have little spikes on them, and if you step on them, not only does it make a noise, but also damages you. And there's quite a few of them, usually handled pretty well with an impact grenade, but you can also shoot them.
About a minute down from the timer here. BDS moving in primarily through east stairs, claymoring it off as well and prevent this very active roam from Reciprocity from being able to come back to bite them. The rest of the team even trying to work their way out from what is a soft wall right now, sitting on the outside of office. That's the team for the defensive side. I'm going to have a massive amount of presence in there, but there is still the 2-man hole deeper in Archives. And I'm sure Shaiko and the rest of BDS are trying to be a bit cautious of now as they move towards Fountain.
Plenty of pre-fires coming through. Reciprocity just letting them sit and spin on the timer right now. But as we've seen from BDS through this map so far, they're not going to allow that to happen. More drones roll in. One of them vacates the premises. I'm going to assume that was Laxine if I know my silhouettes correctly. No. Reaching around into the floor now as they're going to make some angles downstairs into A. Oh, almost has the lineup there, lights him up, and it will be Laxine. Shaiko with a nice headshot after Laxine gets down, so that's going to be the opener they need to try and force things onto site. They've already all dropped to square as well. Looks like this is going to be an execute onto A.
Lem's leading the charge forward. Nyx, in the meanwhile, is going to be able to line up the opening frag for his team as he eliminates RXWD and all of that potential anti-roam utility along with it. The push out from Foxe is they've got a hole open on the inside of break room, and he's going to use it to take down Renshiro. Shaiko still headhunting from the inside of the bathrooms, trying to find players at vents, but it's not the easiest job in the world. You can still have this electricity surging through the hole, and in the meanwhile, Alems tries to drop on the mini hatch, but gets taken out by Retro. Now, Rafal just going to try to brute force his way through the breach, but unfortunately it's not going to work out. Foxe from up on top takes him down with the shoddy, and Shaiko is now left alone. For the first time so far in this map, the execute from BDS has failed outright, and Reciprocity should be able to shut this down with relative ease.
Foxe did a great job of working all the way around the team of BDS. Got over into break somehow. I'm going to assume that he rotated across from the armory door into CCTV, but a great play from him, and it definitely helped Reciprocity out with that round. Killed the man inside a square, and then played so dang well upstairs to continue to help out his team that was trying to stop the take into Workshop. Overall for BDS, though, they had a really good top clear initially. They got that drone work done onto Laxine very early on, forced him to drop, got that kill very early as well. They thought they had it, so they just, at the end of the day, stopped droning over towards Fox's side. He was able to rotate away, and that was the one fatal error that they made, is they did not find out where Fox was.
Foxe pulling off that beautiful late roam, and overall, the players inside of the Vent Workshop itself having a successful defense. Rec is not going to feel like floating any of the other two sites on this map. He's going to go back over here towards Armory and Archives for the third time now in this game and try to take it once again. So far, BDS is 2 for 2 on it. Reciprocity finally going to try and set up one on the board for themselves before they're forced to go towards either Tellers or into Customs. If they follow the traditions from the G2 game, they would more than likely go to Customs.
Back up top now, and this is where all the trouble has happened in the past for Reciprocity. No CCTV hold either. Laxine's going to be downstairs once again, but not the Legion this time. He's going to be playing the Mozzie. He has barbed wire as well, so there's going to be no nitro play coming from him. BDS acting fast as they run down the valley towards the tension wall. Shaiko still rocking that holographic with the angle grip on the G36C. I don't think we're going to be seeing him go back to the R4C anytime soon with that recent change. So as the drones start to warm up and drone out the basement, their main objective is to find out where Laxine is, if they even know that he's here just yet. But he obviously was the last time, so he should be around the same area once again. He's actually shifted all the way over into the basement bathroom.
Shaiko just popping open the window leading into vents as a possible avenue to approach here over the next couple seconds, getting himself some reaffirmed intel, and in he goes. He's got the security. Nice little jump up onto the table from Laxine to try and dodge the normal pre-fire angle from Shaiko, although he'll still take about 25 damage from the exchange.
You can see Shaiko as he goes to the check down list, throws the drone, looks up towards the AC window, doesn't want anyone to kill him on hop out. He's always just so dang good at this. Laxine's still on roam here. He's got so much time to waste still, though, to make this impactful. It's only been a minute, and that usually is what it takes for the offense to even get set up to go for the areas of the map that they want. Plenty of drones, as you can see Shaiko flipping through everything that they have at their disposal right now, but Laxine doing a good job of avoiding any visuals.
Shaiko continuing to play ring around the rosy, really, with these positions on the inside of vents and the front door. Yet to really push himself in due to the low HP that he has. It's made it very difficult to accomplish anything else in this round, at least at this moment. Down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. Still plenty of time, to be honest, for BDS. Meanwhile, as we check out the players that are upstairs, they've managed to get a Hibana hole into that back break room wall to give them purview on the 90 angle, preventing, hopefully, Beepers rotates. Shaiko, once again, pushing in, feels a bit more confident about his position now, even gets the shadow intel, and there you go, finally gets the best of Laxing after an incredibly long battle. Another kill was claimed for Reciprocity upstairs, however, so it's a small advantage that is quickly taken away.
That really didn't stall out BDS at all either. I mean, obviously they had to get some people on drones to help out Shaiko, but at the end of the day, it was simply Shaiko walking in basement. Crouch walk, find Laxing inside a workshop. The shadows helped him out on that gunfight as well with a little bit of intel, but now BDS needs to get the main wall open. They have one set of X-Kairos that have went off, but Rafal is out, so they're not going to be able to do that. Alems gets the first kill, hops into Mini, looking to curve, gets that one as well, as it's all orange across the kill feed, and it's all down to Vert to try and clutch this up in a 1v4. It's a very nice shot, make it 2. Oh, almost gets 3 there to Archive. Rafal's going to confirm the plant. He's inside of Sandwich, but he thought he was on default, and Rafal, with a very smart play to plant in a safer location, wins BDS the round.
Good attempt at the clutch from Vert, and also a beautiful play on the Shaiko 1v1 that he had versus Laxing. Really took his time with that one, and like you said, it wasn't really delaying the overall team, neither in my opinion either, so it wasn't necessarily a bad thing that it took him that long to get the frag. All they really needed to do was lock him down and prevent him from rotating back up to help the team against the execute, which he did that right from the second he took the initial fight, so that job had already been completed, despite the fact that he took him another minute or so to get the kill. Away from that, though, again, Reciprocity's on-site setup just falls to pieces for the 3rd time in a row, with barely any even trades coming out this time.
The issue is that they're just not being impactful off of site. Reciprocity has no presence except for Laxing downstairs. They can't get this roam to work. BDS is not biting on it because Laxing's getting droned out quite heavily, and they're only sending one person to go and solve the issue while they're all focused on site. They got set up for that after they knew Laxing couldn't rotate and kill them from behind, and they had the info on where everyone was playing roughly. Free hop into Mini after a nice kill, and BDS have the entire site in their hands. All of a sudden, you have to try and clutch up with a Jaeger in a 1 versus 4. It's just BDS playing very good Siege and doing the defaults. That's the issue. We've noticed that throughout this entire event. This entire series between these two so far is that when Reciprocity does default things, BDS is very good at countering it.
All right, well, speaking of default things, it's the default site for a 4th time now for Reciprocity. Yet to win it a single time, as BDS has run it over in the late round 3 times in a row. For Reciprocity, the only one they found was downstairs on vents. However, just coming off of a pause, maybe they've got something new to bring to the table now. A couple change-ups on the operators that we've noticed, Laxing specifically going away from more than likely the roam game here and going on to a Maestro, and also Foxe finally committing to that clash that we saw baited in the first round but was ultimately 6-picked away.
Well, another upstairs hold for Reciprocity, but they need to change this up, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They have Fox in the clash now, try to slow things down a little bit, give them some more cover. You also see Nyx on the Echo as well as Laxing on the Maestro. 2 very important anchors. This is an entire anchor setup here. So, playing Turtle for Reciprocity with a lot bigger guns this time around. Still going to have Vert on the Jaeger as well, so be able to prevent some throwables.
Shaiko not even bothering with the downstairs roam clear this time, as for the most part, it is going to be relatively open for the taking. Also deciding that it looks like another player is going to take over that role, as Alems instead is going to be working himself in through the main door. Potentially taking out the floorboards underneath the clash as well to make quicker work of said clash. XWD droning out towards CCTV in the meanwhile. And as a result, I think, of this possible push in from downstairs, Foxe is still holding back quite a bit from the main wall itself. Is not going to actively contest from the doorway to try and bait and then clear out to allow their Vert there to pick up extra kills if he wants to jump into Mini.
This is a freebie for Shaiko here, but he adjusts the angle right as the man heads back, but he finds Vert. Prone angle outside, looking to the Mini window next to Beepers. Gonna take down the Jaeger. EMP's in, wall open, X-Kairos off. And that's gonna be a crouch hole here. The bottom of it might be raised enough to where you have to vault through. So that's a little bit of trouble, but nothing that BDS can't handle. Foxe still on the clash, playing close to the wall. Gonna try and delay this as much as possible, but BDS is acting fast.
Team leaping in here, BDS. Gonna start slowly swapping their way into position to take control. They've already done this 3 other times. Shaiko is in just a second here going to move in. Probably will go for the soft breach underneath of the half wall position. That's what he's lining up for himself right now. Doesn't want to fully jump in for it either, just to make the angle as best as possible for himself. But Laxing is not sent out of position just yet. They're trying to see if they can get the head to pop up. It's this close, but unless he fully peeks it, it's not going to happen. Shaiko gets the job done anyway, now for his second kill on the round. The Clash still in position, guarding against this push, however, but that may not be an issue for very long if they can take him out. The first stun goes in, swings the shield to the side, and opens up the legs for some damage to be done to Foxy, but a little under half. They're going to need to do that again.
The issue is now, though, is that he still has a concussion. Fox has very low HP. If he tries to make a play, that concussion can definitely get him killed. 36 seconds, though, as BDS is still trying to make their way onto site. They burn the last concussion to get the deployable shield, but Retro actually gets Renshiro. That's huge. That is getting this even closer and closer, but Foxy's been down. Retro has plenty of damage done to him. They're just going to try and force their way into site. Shaiko with 2. It's all down to Nyx in a clutch situation. He can stop Rafal from planting, it seems to be, as he gets his yokai set to the ceiling, stops it one time, but he sees everyone bearing down on site. Still holding inside of 90, he hops over the half wall next to radio window, works his way into archives, but quickly gets dispatched, and that's going to be an ace for Shaiko against Reciprocity in round 5.
Shaiko, absolutely beautiful work. He gets an ace. What more is there to say? Just runs over the players one by one, shifting his position multiple times throughout the round, having to go downstairs at one point to clear out the half wall player, starting the play off with the upstairs play where he gets that one-tap lineup against I believe it was Vert, that was sitting right over by Beepers, past that window at Mini, and then just absolutely slays on the execute with a double kill from the repelled window, and of course the final kill to seal the deal. Nicely done by Shaiko. That's the man we like to see, and is going to be the man that carries them forward onto a victory, potentially very, very soon, unless Reciprocity wake up. Another loss on that upstairs site. Finally, the Vent Workshop has been unlocked for them to play into again, so they are going to swing back into that, but it's only going to be on their last round of this half.
Well, downstairs we go. Reciprocity needs to win this round, otherwise BDS is going to be up 5-1 and only 2 rounds away from punching their ticket to those lower bracket playoffs. So far, Shaiko been the most impactful player on BDS, 8-4-4 now, but obviously before that last round only had 3 kills. But as we know from him, he comes up big when it's needed. As for Reciprocity, though, not too much going on the top of their operator list here. 1 kill, 2 kills. Then we get into Foxy and Vert, where 5-5 is both their score line. Reciprocity as a whole needs to step things up here. This is not the tightest showcase inside of this decider map.
Not at this point. Reciprocity, a little bit of sleep at the wheel, at least when it comes to that upstairs defense, just not able to piece together what they need, and quite literally being pieced apart in that last round by one man's efforts. So want to be wanting to try and avoid that for the rest of this half. And thankfully they can, because there's only 1 round left, and it goes to the other site that they finally won for themselves. Quite a bit of presence in terms of trying to deny control, the top-down control anyway, from CCTV and Break Room, as they have electrified that hatch to stop BDS from opening it so easily.
Well, RXWD now knows that they have a pulse. That's going to be Vert downstairs. He's going to have to be really, really worried about this right here. Getting chased down with a pistol, immediately puts that cardiac sensor away after he already eats 2 shots. So he's down to about 60 HP. Shaiko working his way in upstairs as well. He's already cleared east, bearing down on offices for the time being. Oh my God, Nyx! That was disgusting. What a kill onto Shaiko from 90.
Very important player to take down as well for BDS as Shaiko goes out. Definitely going to limit the impact capability, especially when it comes to road clear as Shaiko. That's been his main job, and he's been excelling at it in a very big way. But there has been some big fraggers from BDS throughout the rest of this series. Besides Shaiko, Lems, for instance, has been doing great work. He can still fulfill that role just as well. And ultimately, it's just a 4v5. We've seen plenty of teams come back from that. Alemzo is busy working his way through the offices and into the fountain area. A drone will be stolen away from Reciprocity as Alems tries to send his forward, so that will get pested out. They've got a small breach onto the inside of archives, but it's not giving them any useful info at this point in time, although they definitely have a few players to deal with sitting in the back lane. Alems could actually stunt himself slightly here due to the fact that I'm not sure if he's recognized the second player sitting over by the entrance, the outside entrance to Archives itself. Oh, and as well, Nyx with another swing here, moving in, gets his second kill on the round, a quick one against Renshiro to eliminate him. Alem's still stuck at the same angle. We're under a minute remaining here now. It's gone very quiet on the map. Laxing is the man holding the archives door, waiting for this push to eventually come in from Alems. But instead, swings in, makes the push, and now, yeah, wasn't ready for that hold from Laxing. Goes undiscovered that entire time. The 4th time this series at a minimum that he's gotten away with something like that. Probably a far greater number at this point. Rafal along with RXWD. Now the last 2 players left standing for BDS. Gonna try and swing around. RXWD working himself in from customs. As far as Rafal is concerned, he has control from the main lobby to try and push from there, but will be downed by the upstairs control, which has remained in the control of Reciprocity this entire round here. RXWD with a good opening kill, but is unable to follow it up with anything else. Foxay gets credit for both of the final frags, and Reciprocity get their second at the end of half.
Reciprocity is just free thinking. That's what's going on. They're free thinkers. No, it's really just the vent site. That was really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they had going for them.
Yeah, the vents was the only site that they could really make work, and that's really because it's not as clustered as the other side. I think that's the best way to put it. You can play a lot more flowy, you can play upstairs, you can hold a lot more of the map. With armory lockers, you kind of just have to prevent them from getting CCTV, which is already the worst thing to try and do, because if you play there, you're practically dead. That's why we've seen a lot of teams abandon that in their border setups. We used to see it all the time. They put a deployable shield on the monitor's desk and try and play in the corner just to try and prevent some time. But as we've seen with recent border games, we don't see it that often. With vents, again, just you're able to play upstairs, you're able to defend the site while also not really playing the site. So it makes it a little bit easier for Reciprocity. They work a lot better, as we've seen with this entire series, when they're able to do that.
So BDS is going to jump right back on the Armory Archives. It worked out really well for them on the attacking side. Very rare that you see that site get played 4 different times and the attackers winning every single time. So now BDS is going to get their chance to hopefully see a successful defense on it for the first time so far in this map. In terms of their setup, everything going to be pretty much what we expect here. The Goyo being brought into the picture by RXWD will serve as the delay tactic where you would normally have a Bandit to try and stabilize that wall. Unfortunately, Bandit is not really going to work as well as it used to. Teams have figured out how to, in a guaranteed fashion, get that wall open every single time without even having really to use a Thatcher for anti-trick. But Thatcher isn't even banned right now, so you have that capability as well. It's just not worth bringing it to the table most of the time, so teams look for other delay methods in the form of Rafal Smoke, Renshiro on the Maestro, Lems on the Echo, and what do we have happening here? Foxay already catching 1 run out from Renshiro, and nearly a second one caught as well by the players holding the west balcony. Shaiko is now down at 25 HP.
Shaiko very low, but these initial picks working out for Reciprocity, making good time. Only 40 seconds in, looking to take CCTV now. Get some utility down to chop up this map a little bit, make those rotations more difficult for BDS. Again, that is the struggle of border. Between these two, it's honestly looking like it might be offensive-sided. I'll have to see after this round and what Reciprocity is able to do with this man advantage lead, especially with Shaiko being so low. He's going to have to be worried about what gunfights he takes. They're going to have to be guaranteed in some way.
Nick's getting a bit of drone intel about what awaits on the inside of the site. Drone jumping up to the top a moment just to try and see over the top side of the breach without having to actually go inside. Oh, Shaiko with a nice angle on Nyx, though, realize that they are trying to isolate this position out and take down the Goyo shield. He'll instead get aggressive and pick up the kill himself. That's with low HP as well. Shaiko, an incredibly bold player. Sandwich. Both players, however, are not going to be able to hold their position as Rafal, just on the left side of it. Gets taken out with a nice nade sent over the top.
All right, well, with 2 down now and a very nice nade there from our friend Foxay. Reciprocity maintains man advantage, but again, this timer continues to spin down. Time waits for no man. Concussions pour in now to try and make Shaiko back off from the shield. Impact, for good measure, pops the Goyo. They've destroyed all of the bottom of Mini, though, so there's plenty of lines of sight. You gotta watch those footsies, otherwise you're gonna end up dead. Stun grenades pouring in now, though. Waiting for an AC jump out is Foxay as he's repelled on the northern side of the site, or towards Sandwich. Holding the cross for Mini now. Exothermic charge off. They're setting up for this plant. Have plenty of time to do it as well. Still 40 seconds on the clock. Laxing moving in through 90. Doesn't know that somebody's inside of offices, though. Makes away with his life. Hops down square. More likely going to rotate back and try and assist his teammates.
RXWD continuing to hold that singular angle. not shifting an inch, waiting for his chance to strike. Oh no, a fumble on Reciprocity leads to a TK, and RXWD capitalizes on it with another one. Laxing also falls to Shaiko, who's still alive at this point, by the way, despite being that low. Fox8 trading it back though, now finally able to eliminate Shaiko, leaves Alems and RXWD in the fight. Yokai drones moving in, trying to interrupt Fox8's push. It works out as RXWD claims the last kill, and BDS starts out their defense with the first successful upstairs sight so far in this map.
They had everything going for them, but fumbled the bag when it comes to the actual execute. Double stacked on top of each other as they push. Vertical, I believe, was the one who was he was inside of the engagement between those two, either the team killee or the team killer, but immediately got traded out inside of that engagement, and that's where everything fell to pieces. The diffuser's now down inside of Armory Lockers. The defense have control of it, and all you really have is Lax across the map trying to do something with offices /90, and Fox8 on Repel for Sandwich. Great early aggression, amazing entry kills, but just could not do anything with it when it came down to the wire.
So, this is starting to get down to the wire for Reciprocity. Just 2 more rounds. Yeah, I just was trying to lead it. It's a little bit too obvious that time. Reciprocity only 2 more rounds away from being eliminated from SI, right at the very precipice of greatness, you could say. Only 1 more round, or only one, I should say 1 more game away from being able to put themselves in that quarterfinal position, the very same position they got themselves to at last year's SI. We have a different format this year, but still, don't want to move backward. They want to move forward. They need to rally themselves now and find some way to make the next 3 to 4 attacking rounds work in their favor. Otherwise, BDS could just run the gauntlet and set themselves up for a 7-2 win.
All right, well, BDS bringing Castle to the table after the very first successful Armory Lockers that we've seen, and they're going to a site we don't see that often. They're going to Customs. They have to hold this one from up top, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's why you already see quite a few members of BDS upstairs. Nick's going to take a lot of damage. Shaiko, though, outside, and he flicks back and gets Nyx as well. He's going everywhere, doing the damage, and he takes down Nyx and Retro. That's the only hard destruction that Reciprocity has. That's so big. All of their drones, all of that utility has now gone to the wayside. BDS Esports well in the lead on this one, and it looks like Borders coming back to bite Reciprocity once again. Now, though, they had to try and battle back. Drone still making the rounds. Seeing the setup upstairs, but Vertical's currently on his own. Can make an aggressive play here, breaks the barb as well as the door, so a good impact from the lifeline. Fox8 holding the drop from Mini upstairs. If anybody wants to try and come downstairs back to site, but BDS would much rather sit and wait. There's so much time left inside of this game as well. Remember that 1 minute and 40 seconds is still so much time for BDS to try and waste here. They don't want to get too greedy with it. A nice angle there by the beeper inside of Customs. Metal detector, but Alems gets seen, and that's more than likely the last drone there for Fox.
3 men left standing for Reciprocity, and a little under half the round to go. Diffuser still down outside as well. Fox8 trying to wrap himself through. He'll place the frag grenade down on the ground just to take care of the castle barricade, but it does actually go a little bit too far, so he's going to have to use the second one. That one actually might have gone a bit too far too. Laxing in the meanwhile, though, does successfully knock out Alems. Grenade will go off, hopefully destroying the castle barricade this time around. And Vertical. Oh, such a close angle against one of the members of BDS. You can't dare to push it at this point, though. Just how close this round has gone for the team. He's waiting for him to make a mistake. Reads into the rotate. Oh, it gets this kill easily for free against Renshiro. A second one as well going over to Vertical. That's 3 on the round for him. Misses this pivotal rotate, though, from RXWD, and now he'll maintain a position. The problem is, though, he's now the last man standing in the 1v2, but he has upstairs control. There's still 40 seconds for Reciprocity to figure out how they want to play this. So it looks like they're going to rotate upstairs and take the fight directly to RXWD.
Oh, a jiggle pick from Fox8, but we're on land. That's not going to work here, my friend. Overextends himself. It's all down to Laxing. Does he know where he is? He hops the half wall. Oh, he walks right into it. Laxing not knowing where RXWD was, and a huge clutch for BDS.
This could be the end for Reciprocity now. That's a huge morale breaker right there to allow RXWD to clutch it out in the 1v2 from the upstairs position. And now, even worse, it's also given BDS the match point. Reciprocity looking dire now as we take a quick look at their team cams. 2-6 is the scoreline. BDS looking to move through as the second team to move out of this group, killing the perfect NA group performance here, and finally knocking out one of the greats representing the home region.
Reciprocity making it to the main stage last year here at the Six Invitational, but right now it's not looking like it's going to happen the same way. If they lose any round from here on out until they get to 6, they are going home as the only North American representative to not make it.
And again, this just furthers the story for BDS, and specifically Shaiko, of course, even further as he'll be able to reclaim glory, making it all the way to the quarterfinals on his first SI in a very, very long time. And this is only the beginning. BDS, we could see them go even further than this if this kind of performance carries through past the group stage and on the playoff stage. Him, along with the Lems, have been doing absolutely amazing work here, specifically when it comes to their attacking work that they did so many times over against Armory Archives to win it. Despite constant adjustments from Reciprocity, still getting the job done. The same is carried over to this defensive side, where players are getting away with so much. Arctics WD being the most recent example of that with the CCTV hold upstairs.
Honestly, I think the best example is Shaiko literally just running outside and killing 2 people.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did they expect that to happen. The man just runs out of jail and gets 2 kills for his pleasure. That was ridiculous.
That's on top of the one round where he literally just does everything.
Yeah.
The attack on Armory that one time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of Shaiko, is just sometimes there's just rounds where he just completely takes over and you can't stop him from doing it.
He's been an absolutely amazing player. And again, right now, looking like it's only the beginning of the road for BDS as Reciprocity's sunset is quickly approaching. Last chance for them. They now need to run 4 rounds consecutively without dropping a single one, and then still have to win 2 rounds after that to secure victory for themselves. Nix is first up to the bat as he moves in to take control of Customs relatively quickly through jail. Laxing's going to follow suit, but he is also going to set up the Claymore in case there is a rotate attempt off that door into the window. The rest of the team moving forward a bit haphazardly past this point.
All right, well, Laxing looking to see if there's anything hiding above there, and actually, no, I believe he might be going for the angle. Let's see if Laxing gets on top of the shelf. I want to see what he does with this, actually.
Setting up for
they're setting up for a super long angle to look inside of server. Never seen this, actually, before, but blowing that Canadian wall there is a mainstay thing. If you want to hold an angle into there, that is actually perfect. Oh my, that is disgusting.
Beautiful find from Laxing. And he can stay here too, because you'll note the Claymore that they put at the window. It does appear a bit odd at first if you're not paying attention, but again, it's mainly to defend him. Oh, Renshiro though with the dirty peek at the window. Knocks out Retro. Laxing though still doing work from up on top here. They're going to try and rotate over towards that window. Foxe gets the better of Renshiro though as he runs out. And now, Alems, the only man left standing against the 1v4 with again still over a minute to go. Reciprocity making great progress on their downstairs clears. It's the upstairs though that's been their enemy this entire map so far.
It's the exact opposite. BDS couldn't find a way to get in sight downstairs, and now Reciprocity can't get in Armory lockers, but they're doing a very good job of getting into vents. Well, these early kills really helping them out. Retro's dead though, no more hard destruction, but you can practically walk into the site at this point. Only have to worry about the man upstairs. Doesn't seem like they've gotten any drone coverage on him just yet. We have had one person rotate up the stairs. It's currently inside of offices. You can see him to the left-hand side of Alem's screen. Walking towards Archives now as the plant's going down. More than likely a great angle hold inside a fountain, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Reciprocity knows Alems is the last one upstairs after they drone sight. Vert just holds his rotate as they go for the plant inside a workshop.
Yeah, either didn't have cam coverage on it or something else of the sort. Just does not catch the play from Vert to move back up the east stairs and take control away. So Reciprocity survive. And it's a good thing it comes in now, just when they needed it to as well. They're certainly not out of the hot seat just yet, however. Plenty more rounds to go. 3 more still to trigger OT and send this on into its final rounds to decide who is moving on. BDS very much in control as they're going to take a Bathroom Teller's defense next. And they'll bring Ella back into the play as well here for Alems.
It's a very dangerous pickup, and We're going to bathroom tellers, my friend. We're not going to a regular site. No castle barricades, though. That's the weird one here. Usually when you're holding down bathroom tellers, you'd have to make a bunker setup upstairs inside of offices. We're not going to have that. So let's pay attention how BDS handles this. You got to worry about all of these doors now. Everyone's going upstairs, so regular business for this site. Reinforcements now, so okay, handling triple wall, going to handle break wall as well. You see Renshiro reinforcing at the top of your screen inside of archives as we're slowly piecing the puzzle together here, folks. Shaiko's also going to get suicide, so obviously it's still going to be an upstairs hold, just with no castle barricades, which again, makes this very difficult. They've brought in 6 pieces of barbed wire amongst them, but really the only person that's going to slow them down when they go for these entries is going to be Ella with those Grismot mines.
Once again, an operator that we started to see more and more of recently with her rebuff to the SMG that she carries, making it a very, very dangerous weapon. High fire rate, low recoil on the initial spray. You can aim for heads, man. You can do some very, very quick work if you know how to properly use that Scorpion.
Just click heads. Just click them. Scorpion, though, as you said, a very dangerous weapon. It's truly not back to its original form, but it's damn close. Those first 16 bullets are really all you need in any gunfight. So, drones work now for Reciprocity, as already have vertical poise at the bottom of east stairs. Wanting a very long angle all the way into customs for any rotation. But as of right now, most of BDS is upstairs, actually. Looks like they want to go for this clear now, but this is where things are going to get a little dicey. BDS is spread thin across all of the upstairs, all except for RXWD downstairs inside of Workshop. So every single angle that Reciprocity grabs here, there's going to be a BDS member on the other side.
Shaiko with the lineup, but unable to initially pick up the kill on the peak from, I believe it was Nyx there, but he'll still take some pretty big heat from it as a flashbang goes across, but is eaten by the ADS. That's right next to Shaiko.
Yep, did that to burn that ADS that was sitting in the corner, and now they can get that shield inside of break. So now that they have that open, they're able to watch for any crosses coming from armory lockers. Everyone's isolated out. Going to make sure that there's no concussions. Another electro clog going down. Is it going to get every single panel? No, but it gets the important one. What an amazing piece of utility usage here by Renshiro. Almost gets a kill for his pleasure as well, but it'll be Nyx that actually delivers.
For more over the next couple seconds here, so the wall eventually does get open as the second use is thrown out. Second charge will work out. Unfortunately, Arcade wasn't able to pick up his charge and reapply it to try and deny it a second time. A little bit too high, and of course he's dead, so that kind of hurts your capability to do that as well. Meanwhile, Vertical setting up position to push through. He'll have to be careful. It's a bit of an awkward move in due to the hatch position. He can skirt around it relatively quickly. And in the meantime, Shaiko, having pushed himself a little bit further out from Archives, he's going to take this near pixel angle to try get himself on a lineup, but nothing being found off the initial peak, so he may end up shifting back. Foxay clears out downstairs, gets his team access to the inside of one of the 2 sites as they will now finally move towards a plant with just under 30 seconds remaining.
Rafal and RXWD have already fallen back as well, so the support player's still alive and well, still have 1 Toxic Babe, and this is going to deny almost all of their time. Each one of these is 10 seconds, so at the very least you're going to have about 5 seconds to plant, but no, it actually doesn't even hit him. The diffuser goes off. It's on the other side of Tellers instead of where he threw the Toxic Babe. They're checking above, but they haven't even noticed that Shaiko's made his move. Oh no, with 2, it's all Reciprocity and a flawless round when it all settles down.
Flawless round for Rec, beautifully taken as they focus so heavily on the upstairs control by just enough room to secure their plant, and the utility attempts to stop it from BDS falter when push comes to shove, ultimately allowing for Rec to hold a very strong post plant and shut down another round. 2 more away now from taking this into OT. It's certainly certain that Rec are not going to go down without a fight. Sorry for using the same word twice.
Reciprocity did a great job with that call on Retro. I'm going to assume is put the diffuser down. Still getting used to this new UI, so I did not see who exactly had the diffuser in that instance. So I'm going to assume that it was Retro since it was a flawless round. No one died. He's usually the guy that has the diffuser. But smart plan by them to shift him across and not have him affected by those smokes. So Now we're looking down the barrel of 2 rounds for Reciprocity. They cannot make a misstep, and this is the even bigger issue. We're on Armory Lockers. They haven't got a successful attack on this just yet. BDS is 2 for 2 on these.
So BDS looking to try and end it here now that they've rotated back over to the site that Rec has just had so much trouble with so far in this map. It's not necessarily the case when they played it against G2, as we had wins for them on record, but so far here against BDS, they just have not been able to piece it together. That's including, for anybody who hasn't been here, 4 attempts at the defensive side, not a single one going their direction, which is not something you see happen very often at all on this map. Setup phase is complete though, and Rec is now unleashed upon the field. We'll see how exactly they'll approach this attack for yet another engagement against the BDS roster, one that, similarly to the last 2 rounds, they have no option to lose.
All right, well, Reciprocity, large task ahead of them. Checking in for the break room angle now, doesn't see too much, but as we saw from the previous round, Reciprocity is going to take things nice and slow, play these drones, but they need to play them smart. If that drone economy gets too hurt, Reciprocity is going to be starved for that info, and it's going to make things a whole hell of a lot harder. BDS still 1 round away, getting out into this group stage. Overall setup for them, though, is very similar to what Reciprocity had, except they have the Goyo shields instead. Still playing a major anchor setup with the Lems and Renshiro on those 2 fantastic operators, and Rafal on the smoke.
Ball's gonna get popped open over on the east balcony. A little bit of spamming from Nyx, but it's just to take care of the wooden barricade. Zoom for the player up on rappel near Nyx. Now they've got their pathing to the inside, and it seems like there's gonna be a very heavy focus on this from Reciprocity. Not a lot of split away from that. A good 2-3 players all committing themselves to this push, with a 4th close by on the south balcony that will more than likely be joining them before the end of the round. Away from that, they do have 1 more player potentially roaming through downstairs. Foxy keeping eyes on the windows from that position as well. He'll take out the one leading into the back of the archives area. Try to see if anything would reveal itself from it, but Renshiro is not giving away his position for the time being. He'll stay safe in the corner just by the doorway, and actually is trying to run out, but nearly catches a nade in the process. It's a good thing that was a little bit, I think, off the mark from Foxy, otherwise he could have been a dead man. Now it's going to land inside, once again, though, falling just a bit too short to deal any major damage to Renshiro.
This looks like it's going to be an Archives take here. You see Vert and Nyx working their way up. Nyx might have himself a freebie unless the angle's being held, but a very nice shot. He pre-fires back as well. Almost gets another, but it's going to be a little bit of damage onto Rafal. Down to 40 seconds now. Still plenty of utility to be used by the defense, especially with having the Lems alive. This is going to be very difficult. They need Laxing here in order to handle that situation, but he's currently over inside of CCTV, making sure that nobody can rotate. So they're going to have to do this with their bare eyes. Oh my, Foxy finds an angle for the Goyo shield and stops Shaiko dead in his tracks. He tries to escape, but nothing happens. BDS is just spraying wild now, throwing utility and everything of the sort. The smoke actually ends up hurting Retro very badly. He runs right back into it. They have the yokai though. Oh no, he's trying to plant the awkward position. Foxy's killed him. He can get back on it. Oh no, not like this. BDS is gonna win off a yokai cam, all because they didn't have IQ there to kill it, and they didn't look up to find it. They had all the map control that they needed, and they lose in that fashion. You gotta check your ceilings.
Also the worst feeling in the world for Reciprocity to have it flub up like that once again. Not to mention the awkward shuffle they had to do when their initial planter went in and got down by the smoke charge on its very last tick or two as well. Reciprocity coming so close from being able to win that round and put them one more away from OT, but they just cannot accomplish it here today. And unfortunately, that means commiserations to them. They will be eliminated as the last to go home from their group, but BDS will move on triumphantly into the quarterfinals as the only team to eliminate a North American roster here in the group stage.
Remember, guys, what we were talking about earlier. It's always about the little things inside of Rainbow Six Siege. You can do everything right, and there could be one remaining piece that just isn't there or is there that wins or loses you the entire round. That time it was not checking the ceiling, and for Reciprocity, they're going to have to watch the rest of the games from the stands.
Take a look at the replays from the matchup one more time and see how exactly BDS accomplished it. A lot of it coming down ultimately to the play, which was focused over on that upstairs site. Reciprocity, no matter what they did, just could not pick up a win here, attempting to try it 4 times over the course of their opening half. Their only 2 wins from that coming from their vent hole.
Overall, a very impressive map for BDS. Again, walking into Border, it was just a bad gut feeling. Reciprocity did not perform very well against G2 on this map, all because of the little things like just what we saw with that Yokai. It always seemed like G2 was able to come back on some extremely outrageous play that continued to work.
And overall, an amazing map from Shiko.
Oh yes,
Had rounds where he literally did everything for his team. And like we just saw right there, I think we actually saw that round itself. Yep, exactly, where he picks up the ace. That wasn't the only one as well. He continued to find impact in the early round. He wasn't the only player though. Elems once again having himself a great matchup here over the course of the 3 maps that have been played out. Incredibly impactful. Again, to bring up this point, a lot of people in the pre-match or in the pre-SI discussion talking about how Renshiro would often be the second man to step up when we didn't have that with Shiko, but it really hasn't been him. It's been Elems doing all that work. Shiko once again showing us his skill right there with that double kill run out.
Oh, gotta see this shot from Vert. Nice little flick on over, gets that double kill. Ended up dying later on though. But the main thing though is that for Border, they have the better setups. BDS just so impressive, definitely proving why they're 7-1-1 on this map over the last 6 months. Extremely impressive showing from them, and it really just seems to be that for BDS, if things are set up in a default manner, they just do so well at taking it. They do so well on maps like Border where there isn't really a change that you can do that's going to throw them a curveball. That's the only thing that they're not the best at, and that's what G2 did yesterday to defeat them, but Reciprocity cannot make it happen. BDS, though, definitely did.
BDS is moving on. Shiko's story continues into the quarterfinals now as he has another chance, and he is taking it in stride, trying to take his team as far as possible into SI 2020 as they can, and things continue to look bright. Talking about Reciprocity one more time, another player you really got to give commiserations to is Vert, who ever since yesterday has just been playing his heart out. The game versus Wildcard, where he was able to pick up so many multi-frags, many in a row, round after round after round again, continued that playstyle with some fantastic mid-round plays to bring his team back from the brink more times than one. Unfortunately, once again though, just not enough at the end of the day to push his team over the edge. You saw similar efforts from players like Laxing, who I personally thought really woke up today, who was having a little bit of an on-off performance. By far, this match was his best performance, but again, just not enough to outbest Shiko and the rest of the performance that BDS brought to the table in this very, very long-winded best of 3.
It was a fantastic job by both teams. Each map seemed to go one's way, especially that Clubhouse. It was very, very difficult. But overall, again, Shiko, the BDS squad, especially Elems as well, showing up today, especially on that Border game where it mattered most.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here for game number 2. Don't go very far because game number 3 is right around the corner as we continue the final group stage day here from SI 2020.